Und dann geht es los mit den Rennen. Ihr könnt alle Startlisten, alle Resultate findet ihr auf worldrowing.com. Wir haben ein Dreierfeld am Start, nämlich Mexiko, Deutschland und Deutschland 2 hier im Frauen-Zweierone, dem Eröffnungsrennen am heutigen Tag.
First race on the course here today, it's the B final for the women's pair. Lining up here, we've got Mexico, Germany 1 and Germany 2.
B-Final im Frauen-Zweierone. Wir haben Mexiko auf Bahn 1, Deutschland 1 auf Bahn 2, Deutschland 2 auf Bahn 3.
Lining up here then in this B final for the women's pair. Lane 1 for Mexico. We've got Lilian Armenta Ayub and Maite Adelaga Garay. Lane 2 for Germany 1. We have Alyssa Meyer and Melanie Goldner. And completing the field in lane 3 for Germany 2, Lena Sarasa and Hannah Reif. There we heard the buzzer. That's the start of this B final for the women's pair. 50 strokes a minute for Mexico. That is absolutely rapid from Armenta Ayub and Adelaga Garay. Now starting down to 44, so a few sharp strokes to just get the boat moving. But the fastest out of the blocks, though, are Germany 2, where we've got Sarasa and Reif. Not by much, perhaps half a metre ahead of Germany 1. So these two boats now level, half a length ahead of Mexico as they come up towards 200.
200 Meter sind zurückgelegt in diesem ersten B-Finale des heutigen Tages und es gibt eine Doppelführung für Deutschland. Deutschland 1 ganz knapp vor Deutschland 2. Bereits schon etwa fast eine Bootslänge zurück. Mexiko, sie haben zwar die ersten Schläge mit der höchsten Schlagzahl zurückgelegt, aber sind jetzt mittlerweile bereits auf 38. Die beiden deutschen Boote noch auf 40. Die Boote nähern sich der 300-Meter-Marke und Deutschland 1 beginnt so langsam etwas nach vorne zu fahren. Die Alicia Meyer und Melanie Göllner, sie waren Zehnter im letzten Weltcup in Poznan und sind hier auf bestem Wege, ihre Platzierung zu verbessern.
Coming out to 400 metres in now, Germany 1's Meyer and Golden is starting to establish a little bit of a lead here, but it's perhaps a canvas up on Germany 2. Both boats striking 38-39, so they're trying to make a clean breakaway from Mexico, who are just over a length their stern. Armenta Ayub and Adelaga Garay have strayed down to 35, struggling to keep pace with the two faster German pairs, who are starting to really pull away. We're coming towards 500 metres in, so we'll see how their splits look here. Both these leading German pairs at 38 now. 1:45.29 Germany 1's time to the 500. They're a second up on their fellow countrywomen who are in lane 3. So shortly they'll be looking to settle into this middle 1,000 and see how things go. My name's Peter O'Hanlon. I'm your English-speaking tower announcer for the full course of the weekend, and I'm joined up here in the tower by Michael Schmidt, Swiss lightweight rower who has won twice here on the Rotsee, and we've got an all-star commentary team out there on the water as well. We've got Timon Vernas and Camilla Hadland-Horrocks at the 1,000 and Tim von Vliet at 1,500. So for the first time today, we'll say good morning, Camilla.
Good morning, Pete, and what a beautiful morning it is once again here on the Rotsee for day 3, the final day of racing here, and we've been treated to some glorious conditions all weekend. But the first of our B finals now on the course for today, this women's pairs race where we've got 2/3 of the field contesting from Germany and Mexico completing the lineup, and it was a great start for Germany 1. They've blasted out of the blocks. Elisa Meyer in the bow seat there for Germany 1. Her debut in the senior team back in 2018, and joining her, Melanie Goldner in the stroke seat from Potsdam. These two are up at 38 strokes a minute and currently leading out their teammates, the young under-23 combination that clinched bronze last year at those under-23 World Championships. And currently the fastest moving boat on the water. However, they will have to watch out for this other crew from Germany, Germany 2, as their bow ball stays in touch through the 1,000. And we know they're fast finishers here. They actually were the quicker qualifiers into this B final. So they will certainly have their eyes on the prize and motivation to try and row through Germany 1. Mexico trailing by just over a length.
Es geht die Ränge 7 bis 9 in diesem ersten B-Finale heute Morgen und es ist ein deutsches Duell an der Spitze des Feldes. Meyer, Alicia und Göldner, Melanie, sie momentan die jagenden zwei. Sie waren 10. in Poznan. Alicia Meyer aus dem Ruderclub Tegel 1886 und Melanie Göldner vom Ruderclub Potsdam. Sie sind das schnellste Boot auf dem Wasser im Moment und versuchen an das führende Duo, die etwas erfahrenen und älteren zwei, ebenfalls deutsche Athletin, ranzukommen. Der Vorsprung, der schmilzt. Es war vielleicht noch eine knappe Länge hier bei 1000 Meter bei der Streckenhälfte und sind nur noch knapp 2 Meter, und ich gehe mal davon aus, dass in den nächsten Schlägen das jüngere deutsche Boot die etwas erfahrenen überholen wird. Dahinter Mexiko auf dem derzeit 3. Rang.
Well, we did say that Germany 1 would have to keep their eyes peeled for a move from Germany 2, and that's exactly what's happened in the last 250, Tim.
Yeah, and without even really raising the rate, that young German crew racing as Germany 2 with Sarissa and Reif, they've turned on the power in this third 500, and they are now level, and actually they have their bow ball ahead as they come towards 500 meters to go. But I suspect a response will come from the Germany 1 crew with Maya there in the bow seat, making a call and telling her stroke woman to up her game, because it's almost 3/4 of a length for the younger German pair, now really stretching out. They have a significantly higher boat speed in the second half of the race, and they are matching the other German pair for rates, both at 38, 37 strokes a minute. But it's just a massive turn of power in this crew from Sarissa and Reif from Germany, which sees them almost a length ahead with a little under 400 meters left to go. I think they've timed this perfectly, Peter, to make their move in the second half of this race, and now they're striding away every single stroke from their teammates.
Yeah, they've done this really well, haven't they? They were really quick out of the blocks, but then I think they must have just eased off and decided to maintain pace alongside Meyer and Goldner. But Sarissa and Reif are now really pulling away here. They're underrating their fellow countrymen by 1 stroke per minute and continue to pull away. They've got the best boat speed out there as they come up towards the red buoys. Looking like a good win for them if they take this B-Final.
200 Meter vor dem Ziel ist es Deutschland 2 vor Deutschland 1 und Mexiko auf Position 3. Die Deutschland 2, Sarissa und Reif, haben sich eher zurückgehalten auf den ersten 1000 Meter, aber danach haben sie aufgedreht und die Führung übernommen. Bei 1500 Meter waren es 2 Sekunden, jetzt sogar mehr. Also eine ausgezeichnete Leistung dieser beiden jungen deutschen Ruderinnen. Ich bin sicher, wir werden noch einiges von ihnen hören, beispielsweise an der U23-Weltmeisterschaften in diesem Sommer.
Last 100 metres to go now, and we're going to see Sarasa and Reif take the win in this B final for the women's pair, passing the grandstand now. They've got 2.5 lengths up on Germany 1's Meyer and Goldner. Sarasa and Reif have just maintained that same rhythm all the way down, ticking it over at 37, but their boat speed built into this last 250 quite significantly. They added another length to that lead just in the last 250. Germany 1 takes second place, and then coming in for third in this B final, Mexico. Next race then, it's the men's pair B final. Lining up in lane 1 for Switzerland, Morin Lange and Jonah Plock. We've got Japan 1 in lane 2, Otsuka Yoshihiro and Arakawa Ryuta. Romania in 3, Marius Kosmiuc and Sergei Bejan. Italy are in lane 4, Giovanni Abinali and Alfonso Scalzoni. South Africa in 5, Henry Tor and James Mitchell. And then in lane 6 for the Netherlands, we've got Illy Brouwer and Peter von Veen. They're just passing through halfway. Romania out in front, but Camilla, the Swiss had a good start. They were out in front for the first 100.
Yeah, and I'm sure a bit of a mix of nerves, adrenaline, being here on home water. That Swiss combination of Jonah Plock and Morin Lange are really feeling the pull that Lucerne has down towards the finish line. But the Romanians are going to be so hard to beat in this B final. Marius Kosmic in the bow seat, the 29-year-old, a Olympic silver medalist in this category from just last year in Tokyo. And they've snapped away from the fight behind them for the minor places. The Italians furiously rating, of course, as we'd expect them to. They're up at 39 strokes a minute, the only crew on the water to better them. The Romanians at 40. But hot on their heels, well, South Africa still in touch. We've also got Japan with the great Arakara Ryuta in the stroke seat out of the single, where he performed so well on home water last year, and making sure that they bump all the way up in this B final as high placing as they can.
Ja, das erste Schweizer Boot heute Morgen am Einsatz, und es ist ein Lokalmatador, Morin Lange im Bug des Schweizer Zweier ohne Steuermann. Er vom Segelclub Lucerne, er letzte Woche hier Schweizer Meister geworden in eben dieser Bootsklasse, und sein Schlagmann Jonah Plock vom Ruderclub Rapperswil-Jona. Sie sind sehr gut in die Saison gestartet, konnten beim letzten Weltcup in Poznan im A-Finale starten und versuchen hier im Kampf um den 4. Platz ihren Bugball noch irgendwie nach vorne zu schieben, aber vorne ist es das rumänische Duo mit sehr erfahrenen Rudern, beide in Tokio im Einsatz. Sogar ein Silbermedaillengewinner, Marius Kosmiuc, die führen dieses B-Finale an.
Well, they're furiously passing 1,500 metres, Tim.
Yeah, and the Romanians look to have solidified their lead. It's over a length, clear water between them and the chasing Italians, with former lightweight world champion Alfonso Scalzone there in the stroke seat, setting a typical lightweight rate at 40, and they're coming towards you, Peter. But the Romanians, they're also doubling up in the men's 8. So are they going to conserve some energy in the last stages? They have a nice lead, so they can let the other crews come sprinting towards them.
Well, yeah, they could do that. They've just gone up to 42, though. So it looks like they're trying to wind it in for a bit of a push for this finish line. They've gone up another pit there to 43. The boat speed's coming with it, so they're starting to pull away even further ahead of Italy.
Ja, wir sehen eine schöne Führung für das rumänische Boot. Marius Kosmiuc und Sergio Bejan, sie sind sicherlich nicht ganz zufrieden mit der Tatsache, dass sie nun im B-Final antreten, aber sie machen das Beste daraus und fahren hier einem Sieg entgegen. Heute Nachmittag werden wir sie noch sehen im Männer-Achter, also sie ein dicht gedrängtes Programm und machen ihnen einen fantastischen Job. Die Italiener auf Position 2 momentan und auch noch mit dabei, etwas weiter hinter allerdings, dann die Schweizer, welche hier kämpfen mit Holland um die Plätze 5 und 6.
Here we go. We're going to see Romania take the win in this B final for the men's pair. They do so just over a length ahead of Italy. Third place then is Japan, half a length up on South Africa, who have a length and a quarter over the Netherlands. and then it's a length back to Switzerland. So that's the rundown for that B final of the men's pair. Next up, it's the B final for the women's double sculls. We've got Lisa Gutfleisch and Judith Guser for Germany 2 in lane 1. China in lane 2, Zhu Yingying and Shen Shuangmei. Thea Helseth and Jenny Marie Rorvik for Norway in lane 3. Violaine Ernut and Margot Bayol for France in 4. Canada 1 in lane 5, Shannon Kennedy and Marie-Lou Duvernay-Tardif. And then completing the field for Italy 2 in lane 6, Stefania Boutignon and Linda De Filippis. They're through 750 already. China out in front. In fact, not by much at all. I'm calling this as China, France and Canada 1 level for the lead, but only a canvas ahead of Germany. It's going to take some splitting this, Camilla.
It is. We're going to have to keep our finger on the pulse here at the 1,000-metre marker as they come hurtling towards us. China in danger of losing the lead at the moment. As you say, with France and Canada absolutely relentlessly keeping throwing punches at them through this second 500 metres. But if I just look at the consistency out here on the water, I think that is currently with France, who are consistently the fastest moving boat on the water. No drop off. They're at rate 36, and I just think that rhythm and that rating and they're sort of gliding forward to take the catch is just going to poke their bows out in front over the 1,000, and they've got half a canvas now over China. It's then Canada who sits in third, but they're having to work extremely hard to stay ahead of a really incredibly quickly moving Italian crew. Linda Filippis and Stefania Boutignon are motoring through in the outside lane and trying to move with Norway.
Ja, nach einer frühen Führung des chinesischen Duos sind es die Französinnen Violaine Arnoux und Margot Bayol, die sich vielleicht von ihren guten Erinnerungen hier an den Rotsee, als sie sich letztes Jahr für die Tokio-Spiele qualifizieren konnten, inspirieren lassen. Sie haben sich hier bei der 1000-Meter-Marke in Führung geschoben und versuchen nun, das Feld von vorne zu kontrollieren. Dahinter sind es nebst den Chinesinnen vor allem die Norwegerinnen mit Thea Helseth, deren Bruder wir später noch im Einsatz sehen, welche versuchen auf ihrem 9. Platz hier in Poznan am 2. Weltcup aufzubauen und diesmal noch eine bessere Platzierung rauszurudern.
Well, France now really consistently moving away from the rest of the field. I'm sure fond memories of qualifying their quad here in Lucerne for the Olympic Games, as Timon says, but they're now moving into 1,500 metres to go, and behind them, carnage erupting, Tim.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that the Italians here racing on the outside lane, going with the double from France as well, and we can see the Chinese now dropping back slightly. It's half a length back from the French to the Chinese in the second position. I think the Italians are almost level with the Chinese double at this stage, with the very quick double from Norway dropping back into fourth position. But the French looking relaxed, looking long and strong here with 500 meters left to go. They look in control at 37 strokes a minute, but well, the Italians are matching them in terms of speed, and that Chinese crew dropping slightly back. I think the Italians moving into second here in this B final, but what a race, what a fantastic race from the French double. They are leading, but several crews still within reach of overhauling that French crew, Peter, as they come towards the Red Buoy area.
Yeah, there's a length in it, isn't there? Ernut and Bayol are going to be under a lot of pressure coming into the last 250/300 metres of this race. They're continuing to pull away, though. They're up at 39, and the margin is growing. So that's a good sign for the French fans here on the side of the Rotsee that they'll be up for a win in the B final. But the other three crews, China, Norway, Italy too, absolutely level coming to the last 300.
Ja, die erste Position scheint zu vergeben sein an Frankreich, aber dahinter gibt es einen großen Kampf zwischen China, Norwegen und Italien. Wer wird hier die Plätze 8, 9, 10 einnehmen? Dahinter dann auch ein Kampf um die Plätze 11 und 12 zwischen Kanada und Deutschland. Momentan Deutschland etwas dahinter, aber fokussieren wir uns auf den Dreikampf zwischen China, Norwegen und Italien. Norwegen ist es, welche hier den Endspurt als Erste angerissen haben und nun ihre Bugspitze leicht nach vorne schieben konnten. Italien versucht nun zu reagieren, die ist auf Schlagzahl 40 gegangen.
Last 50 metres or so, France are looking good for the win here, and Norway making the better of that challenge for second place in this B final. And it's not going to get by the Italians, though. They've gone up over 40 strokes a minute. The win goes to France, a length ahead of Norway, who in the end have just over a canvas up on Italy, who take third. They've got a length ahead of China for fourth. Fifth, then, is Canada, one half a length ahead of sixth place Germany in this B final for the women's doubles. Moving from the women's doubles now to the men's double sculls B final. We've got Liu Dong and Liu Baishun for China in lane 1. Jan Oskar Stabe Helvig and Christopher Brunn for Norway won in lane 2. Then we've got Germany in lane 3. Max Appel and Moritz Wolf. Belgium in 4. Tristan van den Busch and Aaron Andries. Czech Republic in 5. Jakob Podrazel and Jan Sinsibuk. And then Norway 2 in lane 6. Jonas Juhl and Erik Andres Solbakken. They're already coming up to halfway, so we'll jump straight to it with Camilla and Timon.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, we're already approaching halfway very rapidly, and it's a great fight at the front of the field between the Belgian combination of Tristan van den Busch and Aaron Andries, the very young boat, 19. Andries in the stroke seat, backed up by 21-year-old Tristan van den Busch. They've got 3/4 of a length now over Norway 1. Brunn and Helvig. Christopher Brunn, the surviving member of that Olympic bronze medal-winning lightweight double back in 2016, now stepping up into the open weight category and holding his own second in the B final with his partner Jan Oskar Stabe Helvig. Behind them for third place, well, really splitting hairs here, and I think it's in fact Germany. The Max Appel Moritz Wolf combination of littered with junior and under 23 medals, and they currently hold third by about a length.
Belgische Führung hier im Männer-Doppelzweier B-Finale. Das sehr junge Team aus Belgien, die erst letztes Jahr zumindest der Schlagmann noch im Juniorenbereich im Einer erfolgreich unterwegs war. Sie werden verfolgt vom norwegischen Boot mit dem sehr erfolgreichen und weit bekannten Christopher Brunn, der ehemalige Leichtgewichtsruderer. Und dahinter sind es die Deutschen, Max Apfel und Moritz Wolf, welche versuchen hier das Führungsduo unter Druck zu setzen.
Well, this Belgian combination, young and upcoming, an average age of 20 and leading quite an experienced field here, Tim.
Yeah, and striding away, Camilla. It's the double from Belgium, that young combination with the two junior world silver medalists there, striding away from Norway 1, and that's the combination of Helvig and Brunn, the lightweight veteran there being in the stroke seat. But they're a little over a length back from Belgium in second position, and behind them it's really close now. Appel and Wolf from Germany fighting with the two scullers from the Czech Republic, Podrazel and Chinchibuk, for third and fourth in this race, with the Chinese and the Norway 2 crew on the outside, a clear water back from the leading doubles. But a great race there from the young Belgians there, Peter. They are over a length ahead and striding away even further.
Yeah, it's been a great race from them from the start. They're at 36 coming in towards the Red Boys, and they've got a good, comfortable margin on the Norwegians, Helvig and Brunn, who are up there at 37, and they're not under too much pressure. They're trying to hold off this push from the Czech Republic, who are up to 39 already, and there's perhaps 3/4 of a length separating them for second and third in this B-Final.
Ja, die beiden Jüngsten in diesem B-Finalefeld im Männer-Doppelzweier, die Belgier Van den Busch und Andries, sie führen dieses Rennen mit über einer Länge Vorsprung an, sogar mittlerweile fast 2 Längen, also eine ausgezeichnete Leistung dieses jungen Boots. Die Norweger unter anderem mit Christopher Brunn am Schlag versuchen hier nochmals etwas ranzukommen, aber sie müssen eher aufpassen, dass sie nicht noch eingeholt werden von den Tschechen, welche momentan Richtung Ziel sprinten.
An amazing race from Van den Busch and Andries of Belgium. They're going to win this B-Final for the men's double sculls. 2 and a bit lengths ahead of, and in the end, across the line, it's the Czech Republic by half a canvas over Norway. So an amazing turn of pace. They went up to 42 to do it. And then 2 lengths back, we find Germany half a length ahead of, over on the far side, Norway 2, who had about half a length on China. Next up, it's the B final for the women's 4. We've got China in lane 1, Spain in 2, Great Britain 2 in lane 3, and France in lane 4. Coming up towards 700 metres in, China out in front, but not by much. There's perhaps a quarter of a length separating China. France are in second, Great Britain 2, and Spain level for third and fourth. But there's only half a length separating all 4 of these boats as they come up through 750. So we're going to jump to it and see what Camilla's predictions are for this B final of the women's 4.
Yeah, my predictions, I think, are for the middle lanes to start pushing back through the centre part of this course. Spain were the fastest qualifier into this B final, so we'd expect to see a little bit more coming from them. And just as I say that, they're at 39 strokes a minute. They've lifted the boat speed to match everyone else on the course, but really nothing much to choose. The kind of distances have stayed fairly similar through the second quarter of the race. China maintaining that half a length lead over France, who are being closed down gradually by Great Britain and Spain, and I think that race between the 2 boats in the centre of the course is keeping them well in touch. Great Britain, in fact, now just starting a little bit of a push through halfway. They are trying to move past Spain. They sit in 4th place currently. Spain a few centimetres ahead in 3rd. China being caught now by France, who are really using the halfway marker as a decisive part of the course to move, and nothing much to separate all 4 of these crews, in fact.
Es ist die französische Mannschaft auf der Außenbahn, welches am ehesten jetzt versucht, das chinesische Führungsboot unter Druck zu setzen. Aber auch die beiden mittleren Bahnen mit der spanischen Crew und dem britischen Entwicklungsprojekt für Paris, für die Spiele in Paris. Sie sind noch nicht geschlagen, sie sind noch in Reichweite der Spitze. Es geht um die Plätze 7 bis 10 in diesem B-Finale des Frauen-Vierer-Ohnes.
Well, everyone up their game through halfway. All the boat speeds got quicker, but in fact a great response from China. They're down at rate 36. They're underrating the French, but continuing to hold that lead, Tim.
Yeah, they are, Camilla. It's great to see that Chinese 4 there. They raced in Belgrade and at the first World Cup, and there they got themselves a bronze medal. No chance of a medal today here in this B final, but they are the best crew at this stage of the race. But it's very close between them and Spain, and well, the French also in the outside lane, just a couple of meters back to the leading 4 from China. The Chinese crew, as you mentioned, Camilla, underrating the rest of the field. Spanish 4 already at 40 strokes a minute, so that's a high rate of striking, but I can see the Spanish now moving back on the Chinese and eating into that lead, with the French 4 going with them, and well, sandwiched between all those crews. Great Britain still in contention. They are 10 meters back from China, but there's precious little between GB and France at this stage. But China maintained their lead by a couple of meters over Spain as they come towards you, Peter.
It's not by much at all, really, is it? I mean, that margin is narrowing as they take every stroke. Spain have gone up to 40 to try and close in on China and take the win in this B final. That would earn them 7th place in the World Cup ranking for this event here in Lucerne. They're now level with China coming into the Red Buoys.
Die Spanierinnen waren Dritte bei 1000, Zweite bei 1500 und nun sieht es so aus, dass sie das Rennen vielleicht auf dem ersten Platz beenden können. Sie haben nämlich in diesem Augenblick die Chinesinnen überholt, fahren etwas mit dem höheren Bootsgeschwindigkeit. Die Chinesinnen versuchen natürlich zu reagieren. Dahinter dann ein Zweikampf um die Plätze 9 und 10 zwischen Großbritannien und Frankreich. Großbritannien etwas mit der höheren Bootsgeschwindigkeit. Sie wollen sich natürlich noch vorschieben vor das französische Boot. Also vorne Spanien, vor China, vor Großbritannien und Frankreich.
Spain have taken the lead. They're at 41. China at 40. And then for places 3 and 4 in this B final, Great Britain are just moving up through France to take 3rd position and could well contest China in the last few strokes. And Spain are going to hold on to the win here, just a canvas ahead of China across the line, and then it's half a length to Great Britain, and then a third of a length back to France. So it all tightened up towards the line there. Spain clearly delighted by that win in this B final for the women's 4. That was the women's 4. We've now got the B final for the men's 4. 5 boats lined up here. We've got Ukraine in lane 1, Poland in 2, Czech Republic in lane 3, Australia 2 in lane 4, and Japan in lane 5. They're coming up towards 800 metres in. And Camilla, I think we were a bit surprised to see Poland in this B final, but they're out in front now making amends.
Yeah, we really were. 2 world champions on board in this Polish crew in the shape of Mateusz Wielangowski in the 2 seats and Mikołaj Burda in the 3 seats. They snuck gold in the World Championships in 2019 in Linz, and they found themselves really struggling to get back onto that form in the last 4 years. They're in the B final here, but trying to make amends, as you say, by leading out this field of 5 boats, but they need to continue to move away to be safe here over the Australian under-23s that sit in the lane just 2 to their left, and Ukraine, who are also matching for speed in second place. They're dead level. They're behind Poland, and Poland continue to open up this gap. They're at 39 strokes a minute, but the Czech Republic here going for a real surge, 41 strokes a minute through the halfway point. Adam Kappa in the stroke seats, really winding from this early stage to try and get them back into the mix for the minor places.
Ja, mit 2 Längen Vorsprung hier im Männer-Vierer ohne Steuermann B-Finale versuchen die Polen uns zu sagen, dass sie eigentlich ins A-Finale gehören. Und dort hätten wir sie auch erwartet. Aber sie machen hier wirklich weiter Druck und versuchen sich so weit wie möglich von dem Rest des Feldes wegzuschieben. Dahinter ist es am ehesten noch das ukrainische Boot auf der Bahn 1, welches sich absetzen kann.
So sharp in that Polish men's 4, the blades just squaring and placing with such decisive action, Tim.
Yeah, decisive and it's dominant. It's a fantastic performance here from the Polish crew. They're moving out even further as we come to the last quarter of this race. They keep striding out at 39 strokes a minute, looking long and strong, relaxed here. They have a comfortable margin. They're sitting pretty on almost 1.5 lengths of clear water over the crews from the Ukraine, the Czech Republic, the young Australians, the under-23s in fourth position, with the Japanese trailing that young crew from Australia by about a quarter of a length as they pass the 1500. But out in front, it's a class performance here from the Polish 4. They have upped their rate at 40 already. They're coming into the Red Bull area, Peter. Don't they look magnificent?
Yeah, it's domination here by Lukas Poziłajka, Mateusz Wielangowski, Mikołaj Burda and Piotr Juszczak. And they just continue to pull away from everybody else. They're up at 40 strokes a minute. Their closest contenders, Ukraine, also at 40, but there's a country mile of clear water between them.
Ja, das erfahrenste Boot in diesem Feld ist sicher Polen. Das sind diejenigen, die auch nun 200 Meter vor der Ziellinie dieses Rennen deutlich anführen. Eine dominante Leistung dieses polnischen Boot. Mikołaj Burda, er war erst gerade 39 Jahre alt geworden. Am Freitag war das, und nun zeigt er, dass er auch mit diesem Alter noch ganz vorne in diesem B-Finale mitfahren kann. Dahinter dann ein Kampf um die weiteren Plätze. Momentan die besten Karte für den 8. Schlussrang. Und die Ukraine, die sich nun etwas wegschieben konnte vor dem tschechischen Boot, welche schon sehr früh mit dem Endspurt begonnen haben und nun noch versuchen, vor Australien zu sein.
Poland are going to take the win. They've got a length and a half nearly of clear water over Ukraine, but the race is on the other side. Czech Republic, Australia and Japan. Ukraine crossed the line half a length ahead of the Czech Republic, who've got half a canvas on Australia, and then it's half a length back to Japan. So that really did tighten up towards the end for the small places in this B final. Next up, we've got the B final for the women's single sculls. We've got Salome Ulrich for Switzerland in lane 1, Virginia Diaz-Rivas of Spain in 2, Jovana Arsic for Serbia in lane 3, Lenka Antosova for the Czech Republic in lane 4, Wang Zhifeng for China in 5, and completing the field for Lithuania in lane 6, Victoria Senkute. They've just passed through the 500, Antosova out in front and starting to establish a bit of a lead here. She's got half a length on the Serbian Arsic, and then there's perhaps another half a length back to the Chinese athlete Wang, who's not much ahead of the Swiss athlete Ulrich. So we'll see how this middle 1,000 develops. I'm sure with a little bit of support from the local fans here, we might see something from Ulrich through certainly through the middle 1,000 and perhaps start to contest this B final. But it's Lenka Antosova out in front, leading the way through 750. But here comes Arsic, Camilla. That lead is narrowing.
Yeah, Jovana Arsic certainly knows how to race. She was able to qualify for the Tokyo Olympic Games in her single scull, where she finished 15th place overall, and she's such a racer. I really think that she could get back on terms with Antosova here, given the margin, and she's the fastest moving sculler on the water. She's at 32 strokes a minute, overrating the athlete from the Czech Republic, Lenka Antosova, by a couple of pips, but it is giving her the boat speed. So the margin now narrowing. It's closing up here. These two scullers are a length ahead of the next contender in the rankings, which is China's Wang Zhifeng, who was in the women's 8 at last year's Olympic Games. Another athlete who has fond memories of qualifying here at the final Olympic qualification regatta in Lucerne, but she sits third, still within a closing margin, I would say, especially in the small boats. We know that turn of speed can come so quickly, and as long as she can stay within that kind of length and a half of these leading scullers, still currently Antosova coming into halfway by half a length over Arsic of Serbia. Wang Zhifeng of China, that length back, it's certainly within, as I say, sprinting distance, and then clear water back to Virginia Diaz-Rivas, who moves out of the pair and into the scull this season, and she rides in 4th ahead of Lithuania and Switzerland.
Zeit für Kuhglocken hier am Rotsee, denn Salome Ulrich, die Lokalmatadorin, kommt daher. Sie fährt im Einer die einzig übrig gebliebene aus dem Schweizer Frauen-Doppelvierer, die nicht aufgrund der Covid-Erkrankung hier Forfait geben musste. Sie studiert Gesellschafts- und Kommunikationswissenschaften an der Uni Luzern und startet für den Seeclub Luzern. Momentan aber kämpft sie hier um den 4. Platz im B-Finale. Vorneweg ist es die Tschechin Lenka Antosova, die das Feld anführt.
Well, a very authoritative sculling style here from Lenka Antosova. She's underrating her nearest competitor from Serbia, Jovana Arsic, and just really nicely gathering around the finish, almost pausing to allow the boat to move underneath her. That just makes it look like she's dictating this field, Tim.
Yeah, she's really stamping her authority on this race here this morning. But racing in lane 5, you can see China 2, Wang Zhifeng. She's coming to the front of the field. She has the highest boat speed of the leading 3, and she's encroaching on that lead from Antosova from the Czech Republic in the 3rd 500. She's moving up. I think she already passed Jovana Arsic from Serbia, and she's trying to get her bow ball ahead of the bow ball of Lenka Antosova from the Czech Republic, but I think Antosova saw the threat from her left-hand side, and she's reacting. She's up the rate. Well, she hasn't really upped the rate. She just turned on the power to maintain almost a half a length, perhaps a little bit less, as they come past the 1,500 meters. It's gonna be a very thrilling finish here with Wang Zhifeng from China, still with the higher boat speed, but underrating the sculler from the Czech Republic. So she's moving up just 3 meters behind Antosova with 400 meters left to row. Everything to play for here in this B final, Peter.
Yeah, there certainly is. This momentum that's building from Wang Zhifeng is continuing to push her up to contest the lead, still at 30-31, and now drawing level with Antosova. I wonder what sort of reaction we'll see from Antosova as they come up towards the last 300 meters here. This little push at the front, seeing them pull away from Jovana Arsic. She's got good boat speed, Arsic, but just not quite matching this tussle at the front to try and win this B final between Antosova, still holding out half a canvas ahead of Wang.
Momentan sieht es noch einen Start-Zielsieg für Lenkan Tosova aus. Sie hat bei 1000, bei 500 immer schön die Führung inne gehabt. Jetzt am Schluss wurde sie etwas bedrängt von der Chinesin, aber sie hat sich wieder gefangen, hat mittlerweile die höchste Bossgeschwindigkeit auf dem Platz und fährt so dem Ziel entgegen. Dahinter dann China, wie schon gesagt, und Serbien. Vor Spanien, Litauen und der Schweiz. Also am Schluss des Feldes noch Salome Urlich, die eine sehr schöne Regatta hier gefahren ist. Eigentlich wollte sie im Doppelvier starten mit Lisa Lötscher, Pascal Walker, Celia Dupré, aber mussten kurzfristig abmelden. Jetzt im Einer eine tolle Leistung, hier im B-Finale im Frauen-Einer zu stehen.
Well, they're into the last 100 metres now, and whatever Lenkan Tosova is doing seems to be working to fend off this charge from Wang Zifeng. She's only gone up to 34, Zifeng at 33, and it's into the last couple of strokes. And I think the Czech Republic athlete is just going to cling on to the lead. It's not by much, though. She crosses the line, half a canvas ahead of Wang Zifeng, and then it's a length and a half back to Arsic for Serbia, and then a length and a half to Diaz Rivas of Spain, half a length back then to 5th place on the far side, Victoria Senkuta for Lithuania, and then a couple of lengths back to Salome Ulrich for Switzerland. Just while I've got you, a purse has been handed in, or a wallet owned by Ola Petter Borg. So if your name's Ola Petter Borg and you're in the vicinity of the finish area, you'll be able to be reunited with your money purse or your wallet at the information point near the main tent at the finish area. Right, we'll jump into the next race then. It's the B final now for the men's single sculls. Callum Dixon for Great Britain in lane 1, Luca Rambaldi of Italy in 2, Bashkai Mate for Hungary in 3, Hugo Boucheron for France in lane 4, Petvari Molnar Bendegush for Hungary in lane 5, and then Martin Helseth of Norway in 6th. Passing through the 800 is tight at the front here, Camilla. There's 4 scullers here that I can barely separate. Who's your pick for the current leader?
Oh, my pick for the current leader just is with Hugo Boucheron of France, the Olympic champion from the men's double sculls, and he finds himself in the B final where his partner Mathieu Androdias will be racing the A final later on today, but trying to prove a point here by leading out this B final, but he really will not be comfortable in doing this because surrounding him we've got the Hungarian Bashkai Mate sitting so close, and also the other Hungarian, Petvari Moda Bendegush, just sandwiching Boucheron here and putting so much pressure on, almost level the Hungarians in second place, and then half a length back to Callum Dixon, the new GB sculler on the scene, another athlete who has GBR 1 racing in the A final later on today in Graham Thomas. But those are your leading 4 scullers, all with overlap, but Boucheron with half a length over both of the Hungarians.
Hugo Boucheron, der Olympiasieger im Männer-Doppelzweier, er führt dieses B-Finale an, wird sicher etwas angesäuert sein, dass er hier im B-Finale starten muss, wenn sein Zweierpartner von den Spielen in Tokio im A-Finale fährt. Er wird aber verfolgt, er wird gejagt von 2 Ungarn und einem jungen Briten, Dixon Callum, der wirklich hier versucht ranzukommen an die Spitze. What do you think, Camilla? Is Callum still in the race for a leading position here?
Yeah, I think he is. He's got a really strong finish, Callum Dixon of Great Britain, so we'll keep an eye on that in the sprinting stages. But I'm interested to see the outcome of the Hungarian internal battle. Bashkai Mate versus Petvari Molnar Bendegush. The first time they've raced each other in the single scull on the international stage. Can they work together, Tim, to take down Boucheron?
Well, if I was in Boucheron's shoes there in the middle between those 2 Hungarian scullers, I'd feel the pressure because both these athletes already at above 35 strokes a minute, and it's almost level between the French Olympic champion and Petvari Molnar Bendegush from Hungary. It's very close between them. Actually, there are 4 scullers now coming into view within a quarter of a length. It's Bendegoes, Peter Varimona Bendegoes now in the lead by half a canvas over Boucheron from France, but Baksky Mate from Hungary is also moving up. And on the far side, that young sculler, that talent from Great Britain, the 22-year-old Callum Dixon, is also just 5 meters behind the leader of this race. But I think, Peter, that Peter Varimona Bendegoes is really taking the initiative here, up at 36 strokes a minute.
Just over 250 metres to go, and it certainly has tightened up here. We've got Petvari Molnar Bendegush still under so much pressure. Callum Dixon just not letting him get away. Dixon dropped a 4 through the middle 1,000, and he's back up there contesting the front of the field. It's been a great last couple of hundred metres from him, pushing it. He's only at 35 strokes a minute to Petvari Molnar, up at 39.40 now. So we might see another gear from the British athlete in this last 250. We've also got Batskai Mate only half a metre or so behind this contest for the lead.
Ja, wir haben 4 Boote, die hier um den Sieg im B-Finale im Männer-Einer kämpfen. Nämlich auf der Bahn 1 Callum Dixon. Er hat momentan die höchste Bootsgeschwindigkeit. Er wechselt sich ab mit den beiden ungarischen Ruderern, die mittlerweile die Schlagzahl noch etwas weiter erhöht haben. Also vielleicht gibt es einen Sieg für Ungarn.
Well, there's 4 scullers all within half a metre or so of each other, coming up to the last 30 or 40 metres. Petvari Molnar Bendegush, some really thunderingly big strokes. Boucheron not letting him get away. It's going to be between these two for the win. It's on the surge of the stroke. I think that might have just been Boucheron by a centimetre, if that. We'll wait for that to be confirmed between Boucheron. It was Boucheron ahead of Petvari Molnar. And then third place, Batskai Mate. Fourth, Callum Dixon. Fifth, then on the far side, Martin Helseth. And sixth place, Luca Rambaldi. That win was only separated by 0.14 of a second between the French athlete and Petvari Molnar. Next race then is the B final for the lightweight women's double sculls. We have 5 boats out there on the water. Camilla, we were due to have Spain here, but they've been excluded because they didn't turn up at the weigh-in.
Yeah, very unusual, right? That not turning up at the weigh-in. We'll have to find out the reason for that. But of course, in this lightweight event, it's a necessity in order to compete. The Canadians, though, out in front, going through halfway, they seem untroubled here at the moment, out at the front of the field. Nearest to them, as it stands. Oh, well, actually, in fact, I'm going to be completely proved wrong here because the Germans over in lane number 2 are motoring them at 37 strokes a minute and closing the gap with every single stroke down to Canada. They've overtaken New Zealand through halfway, and this is going to be, well, potentially a real battle here behind Canada for the minor places.
Führung für das kanadische Duo hier im Leichtgewichtsfrauen-Doppel 2. Die Spanierinnen nicht am Start. Sie haben es nicht rechtzeitig zur Waage geschafft. Für Leichtgewichtsruderinnen und Ruderer ist es wichtig, 2 Stunden vor dem Rennen pünktlich bei der Waage zu erscheinen. Hinter den Kanadierinnen ist es das deutsche Boot, welches hier versuchte, mit der Spitze aufzuschließen. Will the Germans make it?
Well, the Germans are speeding through. New Zealand look unflustered, though. They've kept the rating down at 34 strokes a minute and just let Germany come past them, Tim.
Yeah, it's very strange to see a crew from New Zealand not reacting to a challenge coming from that double from Germany with the Reichardt twins there from Leipzig. They really muscle their way through the end of the stroke, really putting in everything they can at the backhand. But I think the Canadian double have reacted. They have moved almost clear, a length ahead of Germany, but New Zealand, Norway also within a length of each other, very close racing behind the Canadians. And I think that crew from that young double from Germany are having a lot of work to do. They're overrating most crews, and I think it's that's a nice little turn of speed there coming from the double from Norway in the outer lane in lane number 6, which sees them moving into second position. But out in front, Peter, it's still the Canadians looking very cool and calm as they come towards the sprinting stages of this B final.
Yeah, they're going to start feeling the pressure soon because they're at 36, but the Norwegians They've started to lift it. Oda Egerson and Maya Emil Lund have gone to 39. They've got the better boat speed and are closing in on Canada. It's down to half a length as they come up to the Red Boys.
Kanada hat lange Zeit die Führung inne gehabt und jetzt am Schluss sind es die Norwegerinnen auf der Bahn 6, welche richtig gehen zum Ziel sprinten. Sie haben mit jedem Schlag etwas aufgeholt. Mittlerweile können die Kanadierinnen reagieren, können sich noch vorne halten, aber es ist weniger als eine Bootslänge zwischen Kanada und Norwegen hier um den Sieg, die hier um den Sieg kämpfen im B-Finale im Frauenleichtgewichts. Doppelzweier dahinter dann Deutschland und Neuseeland, welche um die weiteren Plätze kämpfen. Ganz am Schluss dann noch die Niederlande.
Egerson and Lund for Norway trying to close in on Canada into this last 50 or so meters, but the Canadians have responded. They've gone to 38 and have lifted the boat speed just enough, I think, to hold off this charge from Norway all the way to the line. Positions looking pretty fixed in the last few strokes here. Canada crossed the line, winning this B final for the lightweight women's doubles. Nearly half a length on Norway. It's then a length back to New Zealand for third place, and then perhaps a canvas to Germany for fourth, and then fifth place on the near side is the Netherlands. That was the lightweight women's double sculls. We've now got the B final for the lightweight men's double sculls. We were due to have the Czech Republic in lane 1, but sadly they've had to pull out for medical reasons, so we've got no boat in lane 1. We do have Portugal in lane 2. That's Afonso and Dinis de Duarte Costa. Spain in 3, Manuel Belastegui and Caetano Hortopombo. Belgium then in lane 4, where we've got Marlon Colpert and Niels van Zandwege. New Zealand in 5, Matt Dunham and Christopher Stockley. And then Australia in lane 6, Redmond Matthews and Hamish Harding. They're fast approaching halfway. It looks like a good start here for Spain, but there's nothing separating the rest of the field.
Yeah, time and time again, we see this style of racing here in the lightweight double sculls, and the men's final is barely separated by a length across the whole field. Level at the front of that field currently, Australia's Redmond Matthews and Hamish Harding going toe-to-toe with the Spanish Manuel Belastegui and Catania Hortopombo. Here are bow ball for bow ball, and just a canvas back, a similar story in the race between Belgium and New Zealand for third. It's just my apologies. It's just the Portuguese over on the far side that are dropping back. In fact, they are a length off the pace. But what a great little push there from Spain to try and solidify that lead.
Ja, ganz knappe Führung für das australische Duo Redmond Matthews und Hamish Harding. Sie führen vor den Spaniern. Sie haben sie eben überholt hier bei Streckenhälfte. Die Spanier Silber in Belgrad, damals von den Schweizern Jan Schäuble und Rafael Ahumada geschlagen. Aber sie sind heute im B-Finale und sie kämpfen hier mit wirklich stark aufkommenden Australien. Die versuchen nun, die Spitze zu übernehmen und sich abzusetzen. Will the Australians manage to pull away, Camilla?
Well, they've held off that push from Spain incredibly well. Spain went up to 37 strokes a minute. Australia now rising to match them, and the boat speed has elevated with it, Tim, and they seem to be sculling away now.
Yeah, they're definitely moving away, but I always look to the Spanish crew for a very good sprint finish. We saw that with so many crews from Spain. They start really fast. They get out of the blocks very quickly, and then they have a very strong finish. So the Australians, Matthews and Harding, will need to establish a bit more of a lead to stay out of the charge for the line, because it's really tight here in this B final of the lightweight men's double, with the Belgians still in contention. New Zealand also right up there at 40 strokes a minute, and the young double from Portugal moving back towards the front of the field, Peter. So it's going to be very tight. All crews within one length of each other.
Yeah, you got to love some lightweight doubles racing, particularly when it gets down to being so close as this. There's nothing separating Australia from Spain, New Zealand and Belgium. There's only perhaps half a length down then to Portugal, currently in 5th. So it's a really tightly packed field. If you're on the side of the banks here on the Rotse, this is one to watch, because the lead is chopping and changing just about every stroke.
Momentan wechselt die Führung zwischen Spanien und Australien, aber ich würde ganz gut aufpassen auf Belgien und Neuseeland. Bei den Belgiern haben wir Niels van Zandwegen und bei Neuseeland Matthew Dunham, einige der besten Sprinter im Leichtgewichtsfeld. Also die werden nochmals versuchen, hier nach vorne zu fahren. Belgien und Neuseeland auf gleicher Höhe, ganz vorne, etwa 3 Meter vor diesen beiden Booten, dann Australien und Spanien. Also es wird ganz, ganz spannend hier in diesem B-Finale im Leichtgewichtsmänner-Doppelzweier.
Spain have gone to 42, and that's seen them take a little bit of a lead up on the rest of the field, but we're going to have to split this one across the line. It might even need to be a photo finish because these bow balls are changing lead every single stroke. We're down into the last 2 strokes. I think Spain on the surge ahead of Belgium, and then we've got New Zealand and then Australia. So it did turn into a bit of a line-up there across the line. That's how I saw it. And then 5th place, Portugal. So we'll wait for that to be confirmed. Spain won that in 6:21.26. Then Belgium for second. Results still trickling through. It was New Zealand, then Australia and Portugal. Well, we've barely a moment to catch our breath before the next B finals already underway. It's the women's quadruple sculls. We've got a 3-boat lineup here. The Netherlands in 1, New Zealand in 2, and China in lane 3. They're already coming up towards 750, and it's out in front New Zealand. Not by much. They're a second and a bit up at the 500. They're now leading by just under half a length, going towards 800.
Yeah, it's still plenty of time, though, for the Dutch to respond. They are at 35 strokes a minute, underrating New Zealand, out in the lead by just 1 stroke per minute, just trying to ensure that they are letting the boat do the work for them. But just as I say that, the tables have turned. New Zealand have come down to 35. The Netherlands have gone up to 36. But boat speed still entirely matched. And so I think that this lead is going to hold here for the New Zealanders unless the Netherlands can do something special as they come past us at halfway. They have closed somewhat. The bow ball of the Dutch crew sits on the bow of the New Zealand crew. Charlotte Spence, who sits at bow, is going to be able to just see that inner eye line there. The Dutch just to her right. And they've got clear water, these 2 leading crews, over China 1.
B-Finale des Frauen-Doppelviers. Wir haben 3 Boote am Start auf der Bahn 1, Holland auf der Bahn 2, Neuseeland und die Chinesinnen auf der Bahn 3. Und es führt das neuseeländische Boot. Sie allerdings stark unter Druck gesetzt von den Holländerinnen. Und das ist nicht etwa die schnelle holländische Mannschaft, die wir von den ersten beiden Weltcups kennen, sondern das ist eine andere Mannschaft, eine neue, jüngere Mannschaft. Können Sie hier mit den Neuseeländerinnen mitfahren? Camilla, will the Dutch be able to make something out of this?
Well, I'm sure our commentator at 1500, Tim Von Vliet, will surely hope so.
Yeah, I do, Camilla. It would be wonderful to see the Dutch here win the B final and get some points for the World Cup standings. Currently, they're sitting almost half a length back to the New Zealand crew, who are leading this and have been doing so from the start. But the Dutch crew racing there from lane 1, all lightweight rowers, now competing here in the open weight category. They're really matching the New Zealanders, both for rate of striking and boat speed. It's basically the same, but I think the New Zealanders have something in their back pocket to pull out and secure the win. But still 500 meters left to row. It's a very nice race here, this B final of the women's quads, with the black boat of the New Zealanders now striding out to 3/4 of a length over the Dutch, and then it's open water back to the quad from China. Although I should mention that this Chinese quad isn't the quad that won the Olympics. This is a new crew, a new combination, and they are racing here in the quad, and they have been racing sweep events in the World Cup 1 and 2. So now a completely different event for these young Chinese women in 3rd position in the B final. But Peter, how does it look from your position? I think New Zealand has this in the bag. They look very much in control in the closing stages of this race.
Yeah, but talking about the Chinese there, Michael Schmidt, my co-commentator up here, did spot that the stern pair in this Chinese quad Xu Yingying and Shen Shuangmei raced about 40 minutes ago in the women's double. So they're back in it, doubling up in this quad. So they've only had about a 30-minute break before they've had to get back up to the start. But they're giving it their best. But you do call it right, Tim. New Zealand out in front pretty comfortably over a length up on the Netherlands.
Es sieht nach einem neuseeländischen Sieg aus hier in diesem B-Finale im Frauen-Doppelvierer vor den Niederlanden und dahinter dann China. Pete hat es schon angetönt, die Chinesinnen, die beiden am Schlag. Sie haben den B-Finale im Doppelzweier noch bestritten, wurden dort Achter. Das war vor 40 Minuten, also hatten nicht so viel Zeit für die Erholung. Und man sieht es den beiden Ruderinnen etwas an. Es ist nicht mehr ganz so flüssig, nicht mehr ganz so locker, wie dies im Doppelzweier war.
Well, here goes New Zealand, 40 strokes a minute, and they're extending their lead over the Netherlands into the last 50 or so metres. It's been a great performance there from Charlotte Spence, Kristen Frood, Kate Haynes and Stella Clayton-Green. They take the win here in this B-final of the women's quads, a length and a quarter ahead of the Netherlands, who have a length and a half over China. Well, we're already on to the penultimate B-final of the whole week here at the 2022 World Rowing Cup 3 Lucerne. It's the B-final for the men's quads. We've got Germany in lane 1, Czech Republic in 2, Lithuania in 3, Estonia in 4, Switzerland 5 and Belgium in lane 6. They're already going through 800 metres. Belgium have had a cracking start here. They're perhaps half a length up on the currently tied Czech Republic and Swiss boats for second and third. Now, I wonder whether some cheers from the banks here might spur the Swiss on, Camilla.
Yeah, and I'm sure they will get plenty of cheers. I can see the boat park getting more and more populated as the day goes on, and we'll hear the cowbells out in the grandstands, I'm sure, throughout the course of today. Always very uplifting for all of the Swiss crews, but they've got some work to do here because out in front of them at the moment, it's the German quartet leading the way. Julius Rommelmann, brother of... the sculler from the lightweight double is now in the stroke seat here of this German crew and pulling them into the lead. Switzerland, though, moving well, and I think those cheers from the back will be needed to haul them into the lead.
Ja, die Deutschen führen noch, aber die Gewinnerin des B-Finals in Poznan sind jetzt stark unter Druck gesetzt vom Schweizer Boot. Denn Jan Schäuble führt hier seine Mannschaft an und hat bei 1000 Meter den zweiten Platz erobert. Sie versuchen nun an das führende deutsche Boot ranzukommen, sind das schnellste Boot auf dem Wasser momentan und ja, wir sind gespannt, wie das noch ausgeht.
Well, Switzerland, Jan Schäuble in the stroke seat here with the job of trying to lead the men behind him, the shooting star as they call him, now moving down towards the finish line on the Rotsee. Can they overhaul the Germans, Tim?
Oh, it's going to be close. The Germans have a 5-meter lead coming into the last 600 meters left to race. The Germans really taken the initiative here in the B final, and they've led out. And at 38 strokes a minute, they have a very healthy boat speed. But I think that the challenge is coming from the local crew. The Swiss now up at 38 strokes a minute. They have a slightly higher boat speed than the leading German, but going with them is the crew from the Czech Republic racing in lane number 2. It's very close, and look at the Estonian bow ball there coming in front of my commentary position. I think the Estonians just took the lead with 500 meters to go. It's going to be a fantastic final with the young crew from Switzerland there moving with the Estonians to overhaul the Germans. Estonia now in the lead, and I think it's level between Germany and Switzerland.
Yeah, this is some amazing pace from Estonia. Michael Kustein, Alaraya, Tonu Hendrickson and Johan Polak are shooting out to a big lead. They're already nearly half a length up just through the last 200. They're at 39, pretty level ratings across the field. Everybody's 39 or 40 coming up towards the Red Boys. But Estonia just have amazing boat speed. They continue to pull away. Switzerland trying to go with them currently in second.
500 Meter vor dem Ziel waren es 5 Boote innerhalb von einer Sekunde. Jetzt haben allerdings die Esten die Führung etwas deutlicher übernommen und fahren hier einem Sieg entgegen. Ganz gut dabei sind auch die Schweizer mit Jan Schäuble, Patrick Brunner, Nils Schneider, Dominik Gondrau. Sie fahren hier einem 8. und 9. Platz entgegen, kämpfen hier gegen die Tschechen und die Deutschen, etwas vor den Deutschen, aber Sie müssen auch aufpassen auf das Boot von Litauen. Also ein ganz spannender Finish hier im Doppel für die Männer.
It's going to come down to the wire here. We've got Estonia still out in front. I think they're looking good for the win. Lithuania have moved up to a solid second place, and then it's pretty clean, pretty tough between the Czech Republic and Switzerland. Across the line, though, Estonia a canvas up on Lithuania, and then it was so tight to call between the Czech Republic and Switzerland. We'll wait for the official result to split them. 5th place we had on the near side Germany, and then 6th place Belgium. Results in Estonia won that in 5:46.98, half a second ahead of Lithuania. And then we had the Czech Republic in 3rd and Switzerland 4th. Well, folks, it's the last B final of our weekend. After this, all that remains are A finals, medal finals for the rest of today's programme. Next up, it is the B final for the men's 8. They're coming up towards 700 metres in already. China are in lane 1, Netherlands in 2, and Australia in lane 3. And the only boat a little bit off the pace is China. But Camilla, we've got a real race on here. Australia and the Netherlands absolutely level, only 1600ths separating them through the 500.
Yeah, the two development crews from these nations are going to know that they're pretty well matched on, race experience. The Dutch crew would have been going to the FISU Championships, the World University Championships representing the Netherlands. This Australian crew, they're under 23 crew, so all fairly matched. And so they'll have gone into this with a lot of fight, believing that they've got a great race on their hands. And the Dutch now just moving into the lead. They're at 38 strokes a minute, but the Netherlands are just pinning themselves as closely as they can to this Aussie move. And in fact, actually, as they come towards halfway, I would argue the Dutch now in the lead by a canvas. They've turned that on its head. That Australian push through the second 500 has been overturned, and the Netherlands now forcing the Australians to respond. They've gone up to 37 strokes a minute. Angus Dawson in the stroke seat for Australia. Just that little bit more kind of power through the stroke to try and get them back on terms.
Ja, immer etwas ganz Besonderes, die Achter zu sehen auf dem Rotsee. 8 Athleten, ein Steuermann, fast eine Tonne Gesamtgewicht, und wir haben hier einen packenden Zweikampf zwischen den Holländern und den Australiern hier im B-Finale. Aber ich gebe weiter zu meinem holländischen Co-Kommentator Tim Fleet bei 1500 Meter.
Yeah, thanks very much. It's really exciting to see this young Dutch crew, all student crew here, leading this B final. They got a massive confidence boost yesterday, beating the Australian under-23 crew, and they're looking to me as though they are extending their lead. It's 7 meters splitting them and the crew from Australia. And I think the Dutch are just, well, they're not really moving away any further, but it is a nice lead to have. It's about 2 seats ahead of Australia. With 550 meters to go. It's the student crew from the Netherlands against the under-23s from Australia. It is 38 strokes a minute coming there from the stroke man of that Dutch crew, Robert Thiemeyer. He's looking really relaxed and confident as they move past my commentary position. They have extended their lead. It's almost 10 meters separating Australia and the Netherlands, with the Chinese crew open water back from the leading pair. But the Netherlands, they're upping the rate, 38 strokes a minute. It's going to be a very tight finish there, Peter, in the last B final of the morning.
Yeah, haven't the Dutch had a great third 500 here? They were built up to a second up on Australia, but they're continuing to build this momentum coming into the last 250 or so metres and are winding their way away from Australia. Australia now, though, Angus Dawson takes them to 38 and they're responding. And just as I say that the Dutch are pulling away, the Aussies don't like that, and they're starting to narrow that margin back down as they start their sprint for the finish.
Im letzten B-Finale des heutigen Tages wird es wohl einen Sieg für den holländischen Nachwuchsachter geben. Wir werden sie in diesem Sommer noch an der Studentenweltmeisterschaften sehen und sie werden hier dieses Rennen vor dem Boot aus Australien gewinnen, dem U23-Achter.
Well, here come the Netherlands. They've gone up to 40 strokes a minute and are pulling away from Australia again into this last 100 metres. It's been a great race from them. Robert Thiemeyer in the stroke seat, setting a perfect rhythm to get the max power out of this Dutch 8, this development 8, who are going to take the win in this B final. Nearly 3/4 of a length, is perhaps 2/3 ahead of Australia for second. And then coming in for third place here, we have China. The last B final just finished a couple of minutes ago, but we're coming up to the first A final of the day. The race for the medals in the women's pair. One of the standout crews we've seen so far, well, for the last couple of years, is New Zealand, dare I say, the Kiwi pair. We caught up with Olympic gold medalists Grace Prendergast and Kerry Williams and asked them how they feel about coming back to the Rothsay, a place they know really rather well. Well, folks, can you believe it? It's nearly A-final time. We've got just under 5 minutes before we start off with the first A-final of the day, the women's pair. We've got a jam-packed schedule to look forward to, and it's great to see so many people here on the banks of the Rothsay. Can I hear a huge cheers? I want to hear you all the way up here in the tower. Let's have a huge cheer from everybody here on the grandstand and on the side of the Rothsay. I love it. People looking this way and waving. Hello. Hopefully you can see us too, but it's great to have so many people here. Let's try that cheer again. In 3, 2, 1, a huge cheer from the side of the Rothsay. It's so fantastic to have so many people lining the banks of the Rothsay here. We're about to have the A-finals start, and the best way we can reward the efforts that these athletes put into all their training to race here in these A-finals is by meeting them with a wall of noise, a wall of sound as they come in, particularly to the last 250 metres. So one last chance. Let's see if we can just practice that roar as they come into the last 250. In 3, 2, 1, a huge roar. Well done, everybody. Thanks a lot. We'll be back with you in a couple of minutes for the first A-final of the day, the women's pair.
Weniger als 5 Minuten und dann geht es los mit den A-Finals im Frauen-Zweierone. Danach um 10:46 Uhr dann wieder ein Schweizer Boot am Start mit Jan Schäuble, mit André Struzina und Rafael Ahumada.
First A-final of the day now. It's the A-final for the women's pair. Lining up here, we've got Canada 1, Czech Republic, Romania, New Zealand, Great Britain and Croatia.
Im A-Finale im Frauen-Zweierone haben wir Kanada, Tschechien, Rumänien, Neuseeland, Großbritannien und Kroatien.
In lane 1, representing Canada 1, Maya Meshkulate and Leah Till. Lane 2 for the Czech Republic, Radka Novotnikova and Pavlina Flamikova. Lane 3 for Romania, Ioana Vrânceanu and Denisa Tilvescu. Lane 4 for New Zealand, Grace Prendergast and Kerry Williams. Lane 5 for Great Britain, Emily Ford and Esme Booth. And lane 6 for Croatia, Ivana Jurkovic and Josipa Jurkovic. There we have it, the first A final of our day, the A final for the women's pair getting underway. This race presented by Securitas AG for all your individual security needs. Securitas Lucerne. It looks like a pretty good clean start by the centre lanes here. We're looking at New Zealand alongside Romania trying to push out in the centre, not managing to leave behind Great Britain and Croatia on the far side of the course in lanes 5 and 6. So we're going to start to see how they settle into their race rhythms, all starting to drop it down to around 40. The Romanians still up there at 48 and the Canadians on the near side at 50.
Das erste A-Finale des Tages wurde soeben gestartet. Dieses Rennen wird präsentiert von der Securitas AG für ihre ganz individuellen Sicherheitsbedürfnisse. Securitas Lucerne. Die frühen Leaderinnen in diesem Frauen-Zweierone-Feld sind nicht ganz überraschend die Neuseeländerinnen Grace Prendergast und Kerry Williams, die Olympiasiegerinnen vom Vorjahr, Vize-Olympiasiegerinnen im Frauenachter. Sie führen dieses Rennen nun auch wieder an. Schon etwa 2 Meter, einen Luftkasten haben sie herausgerudert gegenüber den Britinnen.
Yeah, well, you could tell there from Michael Schmidt, there's no surprise to see the Olympic champions from the pair out in front. They're also Olympic silver medalists in the 8 where they doubled up in Tokyo. They're already starting to push out in the lead, but not managing to leave behind Great Britain's Emily Ford and Esme Booth. They won the Belgrade World Cup earlier this summer, and they're level, nearly level with New Zealand. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two, there's perhaps a canvas in it, as they start to settle into this middle thousand. They're just about to cross the 500-metre mark. You can see these beautiful pictures on the big screen. Going with these two leading pairs are Ivana and Josipa Jurkovic, sisters from Croatia. They're the under-23 European and World Champions of last year and the 2021 World Cup winners. So despite being a very young combination, they're punching it up at the front of the field with the best of the best here and not being left behind by New Zealand and Great Britain. So coming up through 600 metres here, this is exciting stuff, Camilla. We've got New Zealand out in front. I think we'd have pegged them. Well, you and I both picked them, but they're not leaving Emily Ford and Esme Booth behind. A great race from the Brits.
Yeah, really good race on the Brits here, and they know that if they've got any chance of sticking with the Olympic champions, they need to do it through the first half because they've got a great finish, this British pair. We saw that at Belgrade, where they just opened out to clear water at World Cup 1 to take the gold medal there. But I think they'll be, quietly pleased to be clinching overlap at this point in the race on this absolutely exceptional pair, holders of the world best time, holders of the World Cup best time as well, and they are just the Kiwi pair, as you say, Pete. But they only lead at the moment by 3/4 of a length ahead of Great Britain, and they will really have to try and consolidate a good mid-race pace, of which will be difficult. They've not been in this pair too much this year. Grace Prendergast, of course, been studying at Cambridge University in order to obtain a degree there from one of the most prestigious universities in the world, as well as training for the boat race, which she went on to win back in April. And they are still at 3/4 of a length, and having not been in this combination since last year at the Tokyo Games, perhaps feeling the pinch a little bit from Great Britain, who've been training fairly consistently in the Booth-Ford combination. It's then Romania who have broken through that young Croatian pairing to slip into bronze medal position.
Ja, nach der raschen Führung der Neuseeländerinnen ist es jetzt ein überraschend knapper Zweikampf vorne an der Spitze dieses Rennens zwischen den Britinnen und dem Kiwi-Pair, wie die beiden von meinen Co-Kommentatoren genannt wurden. Dahinter dann auf dem 3. Platz die Rumänin. Wir haben sie dieses Jahr noch nicht gesehen bisher. Sie mit einem sehr soliden Auftritt hier und ebenfalls noch in Reichweite.
Well, the Kiwis certainly don't have as dominant a margin as we're used to seeing them having at this point in the race. Williams and Prendergast still in gold medal position, though. But have they opened up the door here to be caught in the sprint, Tim?
Oh, I doubt they'll be caught napping because they can see the British pair to their left. But one thing that stands out to me is the fact that the Kiwi pair is underrating the crew from Great Britain by about 2 to 3 strokes a minute. So I think there is something left to get that New Zealand pair ahead of the crew from Great Britain. But I'm really impressed with Emily Ford and Esme Booth. They are sticking with the New Zealanders with 550 meters still left to go. It's basically the same situation as it was at the 1,000. And Camilla, if that sprint of the bridges is as powerful as you say, I think the New Zealanders have to keep a very close eye on that British bow ball, because it's 3/4 of a length at the 1,500, and I think the pair from Great Britain look ominous. They look really relaxed. They look really calm. Romania there in bronze medal position, but I don't think the Kiwis have sewn this up already. It's still very close, just 3/4 of a length between them and Great Britain. But Peter, I think, well, it will be time now for the New Zealanders to raise this to a sprint, because they're still at 34 strokes a minute.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think we know which 3 boats are going to take home the metalware, but there's still the possibility of the colours changing as they come into the last 350 now. New Zealand still at 34. GB go up another pip. They've gone to 38, I think, trying to wind in that margin. They've gone another pip to 39 now. And Romania, we haven't mentioned Romania. They're up at 42 and not getting left behind. They're a length down on New Zealand, and they're the fastest boat on the water. So you can see they've now all got overlap.
Ja, ganz vorne die Neuseeländerinnen. Sie waren schon seit 4 Jahren hier nicht mehr auf den Rotsee. 2018 waren sie das letzte Mal hier und dann haben sie die Konkurrenz im Frauenzweierone für sich entschieden. Das sieht auch heute danach aus. Aber dahinter ein Kampf um Silber und Bronze zwischen dem Boot aus Großbritannien und den Rumäninnen. Die Rumäninnen momentan mit der höchsten Bootsgeschwindigkeit. Sie versuchen sogar aufzuschließen auf das Boot von Neuseeland. Es ist weniger als eine halbe Länge. Jetzt müssen die Neuseeländerinnen reagieren.
Romania nearly drawing level with New Zealand at the front now. They're at 43 strokes a minute. There's a canvas in it coming into the last 50 metres. It's going to be absolutely neck and neck. Will the Olympic champions hold on to the gold here? It's less than a canvas now. We've got 30 metres to go. It could well come down to the surge of the stroke. It's 2 strokes to go, and I can barely split them across the line. New Zealand by a hair's breadth ahead of Romania, who takes second, and bronze goes to Great Britain. A fantastic race from those 3 crews. What a sprint finish from Romania, nearly pipping the Olympic champions across the line. You can see on the big screen it's a photo finish. I can tell you, though, that New Zealand have won the gold 11 hundredths of a second ahead of Romania, and then bronze medal goes to Great Britain. What a performance, though, from Romania. I think we always expected New Zealand to have a great race there, but Romania moving up from 3.5 seconds down at 1,500 to contesting the lead. A fantastic performance. 4th place was for the Czech Republic, 5th Croatia, and 6th Canada. We move from the women's pair now to the A final of the men's pair. We've got Great Britain 2, Serbia, Australia 1, Great Britain 1, New Zealand and Spain.
A-Finale im Männer-Zweierone. Großbritannien 2 auf Bahn 1, Serbien, danach Australien, erste Boot, dann Großbritannien 1, Neuseeland und Spanien.
A final of the men's pair. Lining up in lane 1 for Great Britain 2, Harry Glenister and Josh Bugajski. Lane 2 for Serbia, Martin Mackovic and Milos Vasic. Lane 3 for Australia 1, Harley Moore and Alexander Hill. Lane 4 for Great Britain 1, Ollie Wynne-Griffith and Tom George. Lane 5 for New Zealand, Matt McDonald and Tom McIntosh. And lane 6 for Spain, Jaime Canalejo Pasos and Javier Garcia Ordonez. There goes the buzzer after the roll call, and we're underway here with this A final for the men's pair, presented here by the Hirslanden Clinic Santa Anna, our medical partner of the Lucerne Regatta and a member of the Hirslanden Group. Let's see how they get underway. It's a quick start for the Aussies, already half a canvas or so out in front, still up there at 49 strokes a minute. Picture here of Ollie Wynne-Griffith and Tom George. Great Britain 1 in one of the centre lanes. They're half a length down on the front of the field, still held by Australia 1. Shortly we'll find out how this field pans out as they start to settle into their race rhythms. Aussies still up there at 45. Great Britain 1 striding down to 42. Let's see how their boat speed matches as they come up towards 200.
Nach den Frauen nun die Männer im Zweier ohne. Dieses Rennen wird präsentiert von den Hirslanden Klinik St. Anna. Die Klinik St. Anna ist der Medical Partner der Lucerne Regatta. Es sind mittlerweile 300 Meter gerudert und es führt das australische Boot mit Alex Hill auf Schlag. Der Olympiasieger im Männer 4 Rhone fährt nun etwas in einer kleineren Bootsklasse, aber immer noch sehr unglaublich schnell. Er hat etwa fast eine Bootslänge Vorsprung auf ein Verfolgerquartett mit Serbien, mit Großbritannien im ersten Boot, mit Neuseeland und Spanien. Also Hochspannung in diesem Zwei-Rhone-Rennen der Männer.
Well, the Aussies have gone out to go get it. They're half a length up already, coming up towards 500. Still up there at 41 strokes a minute. And then we've got Serbia, Great Britain 1, Great Britain 2, New Zealand and Spain, all pretty much level. Look at that beautiful shot passing the 500. Everybody trying to chase down Australia. There's not much separating this pack of 6, hunting down 3 medals. The Aussies certainly have gone out fast. They're still up there at 41, trying to choose a current second place. I think it's Great Britain 1. They're at 37, but only by a bow ball. The lead changing every single stroke. They're coming up through 600 metres here. Australia's Alex Hill in the stroke seat there, the Olympic champion from the men's 4, now switching it up, joined by Harley Moore. Great start for these Aussies. And the field's starting to spread a bit now. They've earned themselves a lead of nearly a length over the current, tied for second place, Great Britain 1 and Serbia. They're coming into sight of our commentators on the course, so let's catch up with Camilla Hadland-Horrocks and Timon Vernas.
Thank you so much, P. And yeah, the Australians, they went out hard in the semi-final yesterday and got rowed through by Great Britain, but looks like they've chosen not to change tactic. They're still up at 40 strokes a minute, led in the stroke seat by Alex Hill for Australia, but they've not got the comfort that they require in this small boat field. Great Britain 1 sits currently in second place, just looming to try and encroach on the lead that the Australians have in the same fashion that they did in yesterday's semi-final. And it was about this point in the race that they started to change gear and started to move through. And I'm just taking a look now and out on the water, both them and Serbia making challenges for the medals here. They've still got contact with the stern of the Australian crew, and just as I say that, Great Britain 1 try and execute a very similar move as they did yesterday as their bow ball moves up the boat length of Australia more firmly into silver medal position, but they're going to be gunning for the gold here. Tom George and Ollie Wynne-Griffith, gold medalists from the first World Cup, but they're going to also have to keep eyes on the fast-moving Serbians. Mačković and Vasic have a really brave middle 1,000 metres like we saw yesterday that saw them into this semi-final, and a similar story with the Kiwis that sit in fourth position. They rode through Great Britain last weekend at the Henley Royal Regatta in the final 500 metres, so we could see fireworks from them. Gold to Australia currently, Great Britain in silver, just with Serbia running alongside, New Zealand in fourth.
Nach wie vor der australische Top-Zweier ohne Inführung mit Alex Hill. Dahinter wird er gejagt von den Briten. Die konnten sich etwas absetzen vor den Titelverteidigern. Die letzten gewinnen hier auf dem Rotsee aus Serbien, Martin Mačković und Milos Vasic. Aber auch die Neuseeländer sind noch in Reichweite auf dem derzeit 4. Platz.
Well, the Aussies still up at 41 strokes a minute. They've held that now for 1,250 metres. Is this going to dwindle, Tim?
Well, they'll have to keep this up, Camilla, because it is very tight at the front of the field with GBR1 of Ollie Wynne-Griffith and Tom George making their case for that gold medal position. Still, the Aussies out in front by half a canvas at 1,500, but I think the Brits are eating into that lead and moving through. They have the higher boat speed and they're almost matching the Australians, 39 strokes a minute. But look at that Serbian pair of Mačković and Vasic. They are also moving towards the front of the field and trying to claim that gold medal. But I think GBR1 just moving through in gold medal position, followed by a struggling Australia 1 and the Serbians now in bronze medal position, Pete.
Yeah, this is exciting stuff. GB and Serbia moving up through Australia. I think that's more Australia's pace starting to wane coming into the last 300 metres here. But the Serbians are absolutely shifting. They're at 42 strokes a minute. Great Britain at 39, holding half a length over Serbia. New Zealand a length and a bit down. This is the great surprise of this race, I'd say, coming into the last 200.
Ja, was für ein Rennen hier im Männer-Zweier ohne. Die Briten sind im Moment noch vorne, aber die Serben versuchen nochmals ranzukommen. Sie hat etwas weniger als eine Länge Rückstand auf das britische Boot. Die Serben werden trainiert von Niklas Deutsch. Niklas Deutsch war 2001 an der WM in dieser Bootsklasse Zweiter. Vielleicht wird seine Crew nun ebenfalls Zweiter hinter den Briten. Dahinter dann ein Kampf um Bronze. Momentan mit den besten Karten für das australische Boot, für die frühen Leader in diesem Rennen.
It's an amazing race here. Tom George, Ollie Wynne-Griffith out in front. 40 strokes a minute. They've pulled up to nearly a length over everybody else. A phenomenal finishing sprint here from them. Sees them cross the line nearly a length ahead of Australia as I saw it across the line ahead of Serbia. It was so close though. We'll have to wait for the official results to split those two as they start to trickle in here. You can see that Great Britain won that in 6:19.37. They take the gold medal and we'll have to wait for the results. There we have it. Australia take silver. And that means we'll have Serbia for bronze and then New Zealand for fourth place, just missing out on the medals and the small positions still coming through on the official results we'll see on the big screen shortly. But it's gold to Great Britain, silver Australia and bronze to Serbia. victory ceremony for the women's pair.
Die Siegerehrung zum Frauenzweier.
The medals will be presented by
Die Medaillen werden präsentiert von
World Rowing Vice President
Vizepräsidentin von World Rowing,
Tricia Smith, accompanied by the representative of Securitas AG,
begleitet vom Repräsentanten der Securitas AG Rudi Jäger.
winners of the bronze medal and winners of the 2022 World Rowing Cup,
Gewinnerinnen der Bronzemedaillen und Gewinnerinnen des Ruder-Weltcups 2022.
Great Britain! Great Britain represented by
Großbritannien vertreten durch
Emily Ford, Esme Booth, winners of the silver medal,
Gewinnerinnen der Silbermedaille.
Romania. Romania represented by
Rumänien vertreten durch
Denisa Tilvescu, Ioana Vrincianu, winners of the gold medal,
Gewinnerinnen der Goldmedaille.
New Zealand. New Zealand represented by
Neuseeland vertreten durch
Kerry Williams, and Grace Prendergast. Ladies and gents, let's hear it for our medalists.
Applaus für unsere Medaillengewinnerinnen.
Next up, it's the A final for the lightweight women's double sculls. We've got Italy, Poland 2, France, Great Britain, China and Poland 1.
A-Finale im Frauenleichtgewichtsdoppelzweier. Wir haben Italien, Polen 2, Frankreich, Großbritannien, China und Polen 1.
Lane 1 representing Italy, Valentina Rodini and Federica Cesarini. Lane 2 representing Poland 2, Jessica Sobocinska and Katarzyna Wellner. Lane 3 for France, Laura Tarantola and Claire Beauvais. Lane 4 for Great Britain, Emily Craig and Maddie Arlett. Lane 5 for China, Trey Chu-Ping and Zhou Jiaqi. And lane 6 for Poland 1, Wiktoria Kalinowska and Zuzanna Jasinska. There we have it, a good start here in this A final for the lightweight women's double sculls, presented by Felder AG for all your grandstands, tents and furniture needs. Now they're getting off to a clean start here. We were just looking at the Italians there, the Olympic champions. We've got a couple of grudge matches out here on the water. We've got the Olympic champions from Italy and the silver medalists, France. And then we got another grudge match where we got GB and China, the gold and silver medalists from the first World Cup of the season. So we'll see how the pace starts to settle as they get up through 200. Picking an early leader is difficult, but I'd say it's the Olympic champions Italy we're seeing on the big screen here, just pushing out already a canvas up on Great Britain.
Nach 200 Meter in diesem Rennen im Leichtgewichtsdoppel-2 sind es die Italienerinnen, die Olympiasiegerinnen, welche die erste Führung übernommen haben. Dieses Rennen wird präsentiert von der Felder AG, Zelte, Tribünen und Mobiliar für Sport, Kultur und Firmen-Events. Nun aber wieder zurück zum Rennen und da sind es noch immer die Italienerinnen, welche die Führung innehaben, aber es ist nur ganz knapp. Sie haben nur etwa einen Luftkastenvorsprung vor den Britinnen, welche nun langsam wieder aufschließen. Dahinter natürlich auch noch die Französinnen, die Vize-Olympiasiegerinnen in dieser Bootsklasse. Also eine Neuauflage des Olympiasrennens, jedenfalls was die ersten beiden Plätze anbelangt. Auch zu wählen noch die Polinnen, welche hier etwas interne Selektion fahren. Diese beiden Boote momentan im Gleichschritt Richtung 500-Meter-Marke.
Well, they're coming out towards 500 metres, and Great Britain now pushing out to the lead here. They were the fastest through the previous rounds, and that's why they got to do the athlete lane selection first here. They've chosen lane 4. Now, they go through the 500 at 140.58, nearly half a second ahead of Italy. So the field's starting to spread out a bit here. Italy level with France for silver and bronze position, and then just a little bit behind them, China currently in 4th. Starting to leave behind the two Polish boats on either side. So Great Britain starting to find their race rhythm as they come up through 600. They're nearly half a length up on France and Italy, tied for silver and bronze. So it's a tough one, this one, Camilla, as they come up towards you at halfway.
Yeah, not only is it always a tough one in the lightweight double sculls, as we say, but with the added pressure of medals on the line and the fact that we've got two of the boats that won Olympic medals last year in Tokyo lining up on the start line. This is going to be one intense World Cup final here in Lucerne. But the British have managed to row through the Italians in the early stages of the race. The Olympic champions from Italy, Rodini and Cesarini, back here competing for the first time internationally since those Olympic Games, and I think they were going to have to do something special here to try and re-gel and reform in the sort of standard that they managed to get to last year. But the Brits still moving away. Great Britain represented here by Maddie Arlett in the stroke seat, Emily Craig in the bow seat, a slightly changed combination from last year's crew that got 4th in Tokyo. Maddie Arlett coming into the stroke seat, the Edinburgh University athlete in place of Imogen Grant, who we saw take the world best time in the lightweight single sculls yesterday, having finished her studies at Cambridge University this year to hop into that scull. But half a length now still to Great Britain over France, who have also shifted through Italy. The Olympic silver medalists Beauvais and Tarantola are probably the biggest threat here to Great Britain, and they are sticking with them. The red, white and blue, not to be confused with the Brits. They sit in the centre lanes, the two fastest qualifiers, but Great Britain in gold medal position over France in silver, still with overlap. China now moving into bronze alongside Italy.
Drama garantiert im Leichtgewichtsfrauen-Doppelzweier und es ist das britische Boot. Sie waren Vierte in Tokio, also knapp, ganz knapp sogar neben den Medaillen und sie führen hier vor den Olympiasiegerinnen und den Französinnen, den Vize-Olympiasiegerinnen. Also sie wollen hier klar machen, dass es im neuen Olympiazyklus jetzt etwas anders zu und her gehen soll. Dahinter die Chinesinnen auf der vierten Zwischenrang versuchen hier noch mit den Olympiasiegerinnen aus Italien mitzuhalten, aber das wird ganz schwierig hier noch mit den Medaillen, um die Medaillen zu kämpfen.
Well, the French teetering on the edge of taking another seat from Great Britain, Tim. They're trying to take home the gold.
Yeah, it's Tarantola and Bove making a move in the third 500, and they've eroded some of the lead of the pair, the double from GB. But the Maddie Arlett and Emily Craig have seen the danger coming, making a little move themselves. They are about, well, it's a little over a canvas ahead of the French right beside them, and racing in lane one, the Italian Olympic champions moving back into bronze medal position, leaving the Chinese to fend for themselves, and currently in fourth position with the two crews from Poland basically level. It's Poland 2 leading Poland 1, but out in front GB still in gold medal position, followed by France in silver, and I think the Italians for bronze as they come into the closing stages. But it's less than half a length between the leading Brits and the fast approaching French crew who come towards you, Peter. Can the French pull something out of their hats and get that gold medal off the hands of the British?
That's the killer question, isn't it, Tim? Both boats at 36. France going up another gear to match the rating of Great Britain at the front. Is the boat speed going to come with it? I think, though, seeing Italy dropping back, they're over a length behind, currently in third place, under pressure as China try to move up on them. It would be the great shock of the event if the world best time holders, Italy, and Olympic champions, Italy, don't medal here. But China trying to move up on them now. It's down to half a length for that bronze medal. At the front, though, the margin remains the same as France go up another pip to 39 to try and move through GB.
Ja, die Britinnen haben das Rennen lange angeführt, sind im Moment noch immer vorne, aber die Französinnen, was für ein Endspurt. Sie fahren hier Richtung Ziel und mit jedem Schlag holen sie etwas aus und fahren näher an die führenden Britinnen auf. Es ist noch ein Luftkasten nun vor der Tribüne. Werden es die Französinnen noch machen und fahren sie hier nach vorne in diesem A-Finale im Leichtgewichtsfrauen-Doppelzweier?
It's absolutely neck and neck at the front of the field here. You can't split them. France are at 42, Great Britain at 39. France now drawing level. It's less than half a canvas as they come into the last 40 metres. It's going to come down to the surge of the stroke. A little bit of a push from Great Britain sees them take the initiative again. It's back up to nearly a canvas as they cross the line. Great Britain take the gold medal, just under a canvas ahead of France for silver. Who's going to take the bronze? It's going to be Italy by a canvas ahead of China. And then a length back we find 5th place Poland 2 and then 6th place Poland 1. So an exciting conclusion there to the A final of the lightweight women's doubles, won by Great Britain, silver to France and bronze to Italy. The victory ceremony for the men's pair.
Die Siegerehrung zum Männer-Zweier.
The medals will be presented by
Die Medaillen werden präsentiert von
World Rowing Council member
Mitglied des World Rowing Council,
Masakuni Hosobuchi, accompanied by the representative of Hirslanden Clinic St. Anna,
begleitet vom Repräsentanten der Hirslanden Klinik St. Anna, Daniel Wegmann.
winners of the bronze medal,
Gewinner der Bronzemedaille,
Serbia. Serbia represented by
Serbien, vertreten durch
Martin Mačković, Milos Vasic, winners of the silver medal,
Gewinner der Silbermedaille,
Australia. Australia represented by
Australien, vertreten durch
Alexander Hill, Harley Moore, winners of the gold medal and winners of the 2022 World Rowing Cup,
Gewinner der Goldmedaille und Gewinner des Ruder-Weltcups 2022.
Great Britain. Great Britain represented by
Großbritannien, vertreten durch
Oliver Wynne-Griffith, and Tom George. Ladies and gents, let's hear it for our medalists.
Applaus für unsere Medaillengewinner.
Next race up then, it's the A final for the lightweight men's double sculls. We've got Poland, Italy 2, Norway 1, France, Italy 1 and Switzerland.
A-Finale im Männerleichtgewichtsdoppelzweier. Wir haben Polen, Italien 2, Norwegen 1, Frankreich, Italien 1 und die Schweiz am Start.
A final, the lightweight men's double sculls. In lane 1, representing Poland, Jerzy Kowalski and Artur Mikolajczewski. Lane 2 for Italy 2, Pietro Rutter and Gabriel Suarez. Lane 3 for Norway, Lars Benske and Askiel Tjøm. Lane 4 for France, Hugo Bouret and Ferdinand Ludwig. Lane 5 for Italy 1, Niels Torre and Stefano Oppo. And lane 6 for Switzerland, Andrei Struzina and Rafael Ahumada, Ireland. Those final tense moments unleashed by the buzzer, and it looks like a good, clean, quick and crisp start here in this A final for the lightweight men's double sculls, presented by Schmidt AG, Schmidt Group Ebicom, the service provider for construction and renovation. Let's see how they get underway here then. 100 metres in, France out in front already by perhaps a canvas over the level. Italy 2 and Italy 1 boats, both up there at 44. In fact, Italy won at 47 strokes a minute, so rapid stuff there, but pushing their nose out, it is France for the early lead.
Ja, das französische Boot hat die Führung übernommen. Nach etwa 200 Meter ist das immer noch etwa fast schon eine Länge gegenüber den anderen Booten. Also ein Blitzstart des französischen Boots hier im Leichtgewichtsdoppelzweier. Dieses Rennen wird präsentiert von der Schmidt AG, Schmidt Gruppe in Ebicom, Gesamtdienstleisterin für Neubau und Umbau. Nun aber zum Rennen zurück. Die Schweizer hier natürlich auch am Start. Auf der Bahn 6 haben sie nicht so viel Rückstand auf das führende Boot aus Frankreich. Also alles klar im Moment bei 400 Meter für das Schweizer Boot mit Andrei Struzina und Rafael Ahumada. Neben den Medaillen für den Weltcup hier in Lucerne geht es natürlich auch um den Gesamtweltcup für das Schweizer Boot. Das Schweizer Boot etwas in anderer Formation hat schon Gold und Bronze gewonnen in dieser Saison, also wird es reichen für den Gesamtweltcup, für die Schweiz. Wir brauchen alle Unterstützung.
Well, 500 metres in, France out in front, but going with them, Switzerland. Switzerland at 38 strokes a minute, only less than a canvas down on the leadership of this A final for the lightweight men's doubles. And then we've got Italy 2. Italy 2 looking really good for third. They're drawing level with Switzerland. Interesting to see here as they come up through 600. Italy 1, perhaps half a metre behind that tussle for bronze medal. And then we've got Poland currently riding in 5th. And dropping out of the back were my favourites for this race. I thought when we were chatting together here, Camilla, that Norway would be out in front. I think we both pegged Norway to be strong contenders here, but they're just over a length down. They might be coming back, though.
Yeah, and I think we'd expect them to have a strong second half, the Norwegians, so we'll put them to one side for now, but expect them to be making their mark in the second 1,000 metres. And just as I say that, they're starting to close ever so gradually. But out in front now, the Swiss combination, Andrei Struzina and Rafael Ahumada out in front in the lead here, and the home fans are going to have to carry them home through the final 50% of this race. And with that, I'm going to hand over to my co-commentator to tell you what's going on.
Andrei Struzina vom Seeclubzug und Rafael Ahumada von Forward Rowing Club Marsch. Sie beide führen nun dieses Leichtgewichtsmänner-Doppelzweier-Finale an. Sie führen und wir nähern uns der Streckenhälfte. Sie führen aber nur ganz knapp vor dem italienischen Boot, welches sich auf dem zweiten Streckenviertel hier nach vorne geschoben hat. Das ist Pietro Ruta und Gabriel Soares. Die Italiener, die führen hier einen internen Ausscheidungskampf wohl auf dem Rotsee aus, aber die Schweizer, sie scheinen sich etwas absetzen zu können und führen nun mit 1-2 Meter Vorsprung, also das sieht sehr gut aus hier, sowohl für den Sieg heute als auch für den Gesamtweltcup.
Well, chants coming from the banks in the boating area, going for the Swiss here, and they're going to be uplifted in what is the hardest part of the 2K. We often feel that third 500 when the legs are burning, and they have to hold off both Italian crews that are charging. They've split up Oppo and Ruta into two different double sculls. Oppo with Torre in the Italian one crew. It's Ruta and Suarez for Italy too. They're both closing in now on Switzerland in the lead, and France and Norway now back up in the running and keeping touch in fourth, Tim.
Yeah, it's the whole pack is getting back together for the final 500 with the local favorite, the Swiss, leading, but by less than a meter at this stage, because it's Ruta and Soares from Italy racing in lane 2 who are really trying to get their bow ball ahead, and are really up there already, 38 strokes a minute, and but a fantastic rhythm there from the Swiss double. They're really taking the initiative here, and I hope it's rewarded with a medal come 500 meters to go, but it's almost level, and the Italians on the far side from my position in lane 2, the Ruta and Soares, they're really trying everything to get next to the Swiss, with the other Italian crew of Torre and Oppo in I think a bronze medal position, but less than a length back we see France and the crew from Norway still in it, only the Polish dropping off the pack, but in front it's a fantastic battle between Italy 1, Italy 2 and the Swiss, Peter.
Yeah, Italy 2 starting to move up. Ruta and Soares, 39 strokes a minute. Italy 1 going with them. This could be horizontal domination by the Italians, moving up to take the lead from Switzerland. It looks like it's a bit of pain on the face of Ahumada in the stroke seat there, as they drop down to nearly half a length behind this charge from the 2 Italian boats.
Ja, was für ein Rennen für André Struzzina und Rafael Ahumada. Sie haben lange Zeit geführt, aber sind momentan immer noch auf einer Position für das Podest zwischen den beiden italienischen Booten. Es läuft auf ein Duell zwischen Italien 1 und Italien 2 aus, aber die Schweizer sind noch gut dabei, und sie sind vor allem auch noch gut dabei für den Sieg im Gesamtweltcup. Es wäre der erste Sieg seit 2001, seit Markus Gier und Niklas Lett. Also nochmals alle möglichst laut schreien für die Schweiz, für André Struzzina und Rafael Ahumada.
It's Italy and Italy for the gold medal. They're a length up on the others. It's an amazing performance from the 2 Italian boats. Coming to the last 50 metres, they're trading places with a surge of every stroke. Both boats at 45 strokes a minute. Who's going to take the gold as they come up to the line? It's so tough to split the 2 Italian boats. I say it's Italy 2 ahead of Italy 1. Then third goes to Norway. Fourth place then France. Fifth Switzerland. And coming in for sixth we have Poland. That was a tight one, and what an amazing performance from the 2 Italian boats. Very similar race strategies, plugging their way up the field. And Italy 2's Pietro Ruta and Gabriel Suarez take the win in 6:12.13, just 32 hundredths of a second ahead of Italy 1 for silver, and then Norway 1 for bronze. We then had fourth place France, fifth place Switzerland, and sixth place Poland. The victory ceremony for the lightweight women's double sculls.
Die Siegerehrung zum Leichtgewichtsfrauen-Doppelzweier.
The medals will be presented by
Die Medaillen werden präsentiert von
World Rowing President
Präsident von World Rowing,
Jean-Christophe Rolland, accompanied by the representative of Felder AG,
begleitet vom Repräsentanten der Felder AG, Ramon Felder.
winners of the bronze medal,
Gewinnerinnen der Bronzemedaille.
Italy. Italy represented by
Italien, vertreten durch
Federica Cesarini and Valentina Rodini. Winners of the silver medal,
Gewinnerinnen der Silbermedaille.
France. France represented by
Frankreich, vertreten durch
Claire Beauvais and Laura Tarantola. Winners of the gold medal and winners of the 2022 World Rowing Cup,
Gewinnerinnen der Goldmedaille und Gewinnerinnen des Ruderweltcups 2022.
Great Britain. Great Britain represented by
Großbritannien, vertreten durch
Maddie Arlett and Emily Craig. Ladies and gents, let's hear it for our medalists.
Applaus für unsere Medaillengewinnerinnen.
Next up, we've got the A final for the women's quadruple sculls. Germany, Italy, Great Britain, China, Poland and Romania.
A-Finale im Frauen-Doppelvierer. Wir haben Deutschland, Italien, Großbritannien, China, Polen und Rumänien am Start.
A final for the women's quadruple sculls. We can see them at the start and they can hear us up there at the start. This is the A final for the women's quads in lane 1, representing Germany. Nora Pauser, Marie-Sophie Zeitler, Sarah Viberens and Sophie Leupold. Lane 2 for Italy, Clara Guerra, Alessandra Montesano, Valentina Iseppi and Chiara Ondoli. Lane 3 for Great Britain, Jess Layden, Kyra Edwards, Georgina Brayshaw and Lucy Glover. Lane 4 for China, Chen Yunxia, Lu Shiyu, Liu Yong and Cao Cheitong. Lane 5 for Poland, Joanna Dietmann, Katarzyna Boruk, Marta Wieliczko and Katarzyna Zillman. And lane 6 for Romania, Emanuela Ioana Ciauto and Cristina Druga, Joela Kosmiut and Patricia Chires. Here we go, the A final for the women's quads is underway. I love watching quadruple sculls go out of the blocks. All of those blades working so perfectly in unison. The technical proficiency of these elite women absolutely on display here on the Rotse in Lucerne. This is the A final for the women's quadruple sculls presented by Sabag, your Swiss partner for kitchens, bathrooms and flooring. Let's see how they get underway then. The early leader, China, not by much though. Only a nose ahead of Germany over on the far side of this picture, which is of course lane 1, the near side of this course on the grandstand side. So we'll see how they settle in, coming up to 200 meters in.
Das Rennen im Frauendoppelvierer ist soeben gestartet. Dieses Rennen wird präsentiert von Sabag. Sabag, ihr Schweizer Partner für Küchen, Badzimmer und Bodenbeläge. Die ersten Führenden in diesem Rennen nach 300 Meter, das sind die Chinesinnen, nicht ganz überraschend. Sie waren die Olympiasiegerinnen im letzten Jahr in Tokio. 3 von dieser Crew sind übrig geblieben und sie machen auch schon hier wieder mächtig Druck. Sie fahren nach vorne, 400 Meter sind nun zurückgelegt und das chinesische Boot hat schon fast eine halbe Länge, 3/4 Länge Vorsprung auf die ersten Verfolgerinnen, insbesondere auf Polen und Italien und auch Großbritannien, welche hier noch nahe beisammen sind. Also vorne China, dahinter eigentlich das ganze Rest des Feldes, ebenfalls Deutschland und Rumänien.
Coming out through 500, China out in front then. This is essentially the Olympic Championship quad of Cui Xiaotong, Liu Yong and Chen Yunxia, now joined in the two-seat by Lu Shiyu. This combination won the gold medal at the Poznan World Cup just a couple of weeks ago, and they're already setting a punishing rhythm at the front. They're a length up, as you can see, over Great Britain, who were the 4th place finishers in Belgrade, trying to keep terms and at least a bit of overlap with China. Going with them then, Poland, they're up there at 38 strokes a minute still, the highest rating boat out there on the water, so we'll see how these guys settle into this second 500. They're nearly at 750 and coming into sight of our commentators at halfway, Camilla and Timon.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, a pretty boastful lead that the Chinese have got at this point in time, and you'd expect nothing less from this crew that ruled the world quite literally last year and last season. They were unbeatable, unmatchable, and looking to replicate that this Olympiad, and they are just sensational out in front. Although being matched on boat speed by the rest of the field, they've gotten themselves out to a clear water start and now just sitting there and watching what's unfolding behind them. And in fact, they are going to have quite the show, because closing in on Great Britain, who sit in silver medal position at the moment, the Italians making a really good go of going for bronze here, and they sit just back, almost 1 seat back on Great Britain here. The bow seat of Italy, Clara Guerra, she's going to be able to look across and see Kyra Edwards in the 2 seats for GB. And just a canvas separating them. Poland also running and riding up here for the medals. 3 crews here tied for silver and bronze, with Great Britain with noses out in front in silver, Poland and Italy just tussling it out for bronze.
Die Chinesinnen, sie führen mit offenem Wasser hier im Frauen-Doppelvierer. Sie führen vor den Britinnen, denn dahinter ist es ein packender Dreikampf, den die Britinnen hier kurz nach Streckenhälfte für sich zu entscheiden versuchen. Sie haben ihr Boot mit einem Luftkastenvorsprung nach vorne geschoben und versuchen nun diesen Vorsprung zu halten. Sie sind das schnellere der 3 Verfolgungsbooten, aber vorne ist es weiterhin China. Schöne, lange Schläge, kraftvolle Schläge. Sie wollen sich hier absetzen und und wollen das Rennen ganz klar für sich entscheiden. Wir vermissen natürlich den Schweizer Doppelvierer, den wir hier sehr gerne am Start gesehen hätten. Sie haben eine wunderbare Silbermedaille gewonnen in Poznan, aber leider aufgrund von diversen Covid-Erkrankungen nicht am Start. Camilla, we would say Piao Liang, when looking at the Chinese quads, are they going to win this one?
Well, I think one of the best crews of the last decade, the Chinese women's quad. One change on board, as we said, Lu Shiyu in the 3 seat, but behind them, the race for the medals, Tim, it's heating up.
Yeah, it's definitely heating up behind that dominant Chinese double here. They've broken clear water advantage at 1500, with the Brits still in silver medal position and the Italians just a quarter length back to in bronze medal position. But the Polish are also making a move, 39 strokes a minute, and they're really trying to get back into the mix. They're 5 meters behind bronze medal positioned for that Italian crew, and the GB crew really have their work cut out to stay out of the charge for the line and claim that silver medal. But I think nobody is going to touch that all-conquering Chinese quad. They're not really sprinting yet, just 36 strokes a minute, Peter, and they can see the field coming towards them.
Yeah, but their boat speed is just phenomenal at 36. Such a powerful combination where Zhong has been replaced by Liu in the 2 seat. That combination at the Olympics set the world best time of 6:05.13. So that's the pace to be reckoned with. But they're not quite on world best pace here on the water, but they have a clear water margin still over Great Britain, who are facing an awful lot of pressure as Italy go up to 40 to try and take silver.
Offenes Wasser zwischen China und den Verfolgerinnen. Also die Goldmedaille wird nach China gehen, aber dahinter gibt es einen Kampf um Silber und Bronze. Im Moment die Britinnen auf der Silberposition, aber die Italienerinnen mit Clara Guerra am Bug, die ehemalige Leichtgewichtsruderinnen, versuchen hier nochmals nach vorne zu fahren. Werden sie es schaffen? Wir wissen es in wenigen Augenblicken.
China are going to take the gold medal here, but pressure's on Great Britain for that silver. Let's see how they cross the line. China take the gold for the women's quadruple sculls, a length ahead of Great Britain, who takes silver, and then half a length behind we have Italy for the bronze. A length down then we have Poland crossing the line for 4th place, a length ahead of Romania for 5th, and then just under a length ahead of Germany for 6th. The victory ceremony for the lightweight men's double sculls.
Die Siegerehrung zum Leichtgewichtsmänner Doppelzweier.
The medals will be presented by
Die Medaillen werden präsentiert von
World Rowing Council member,
Mitglied des World Rowing Council, Jürgen Steinacker,
accompanied by the representative of Schmidt AG,
begleitet vom Repräsentanten der Schmied AG, Werner Huber.
winners of the bronze medal,
Gewinner der Bronzemedaille,
Norway. Norway represented by
Norwegen, vertreten durch
Askjaltjom and Lars Benske. Winners of the silver medal,
Gewinner der Silbermedaille,
Italy. Italy represented by
Italien, vertreten durch
Stefano Oppo and Niels Torre. Winners of the gold medal,
Gewinner der Goldmedaille,
Italy. Italy represented by
Italien, vertreten durch
Gabriel Suarez and Pietro Rutter. And last but not least, the winners of the World Rowing Cup 2022,
die Gewinner des Ruderweltcups 2022.
Switzerland. Ladies and gents, let's hear it for our medalists.
Applaus für unsere Medaillengewinner.
Next up then, we move from the women's quad onto the A final for the men's four. Lining up here, we've got Italy 2, Germany, Great Britain, Australia 1, Romania and Italy 1.
Wir kommen zum Männervierone. Das A-Finale mit Italien 2, Deutschland, Großbritannien, Australien 1, Rumänien und Italien 1.
Lane 1 for Italy 2, Davide Comini, Emanuele Caetani Liceo, Salvatore Monfricola and Nunzio Di Colandrea. Lane 2 for Germany, Thijs Hagemeister, Marty Grossman, Max John, Mark Kaman. Lane 3 for Great Britain, William Stewart, Samuel Nunn, Matthew Aldridge and Freddie Davidson. Lane 4 for Australia, Alexander Pernell, Spencer Turin, Jack Hargreaves and Joseph O'Brien. Lane 5 for Romania, Mihaita Tiganescu, Mugurel Vasile Semchuc, Stefan Berariu and Florin Lehaci. And lane 6 for Italy won. Paolo Covini, Antonio Cascone, Davide Verita and Giovanni Codato. Here we go, the A final for the men's four, a hotly anticipated contest, particularly with Australia lining up here in one of the centre lanes. A great shot of them shooting out of the blocks here. They go out at 49 strokes a minute. This, of course, the A final for the men's four, presented by Schurter AG, specialist for electronic components and input systems. Let's see how they go through this first 100. The early leaders are, in fact, Romania, not by much, as you can see, ahead of Australia. It's perhaps a quarter of a canvas, if that, and then Italy too going with them on the far side of that great picture.
Das Rennen im Männer-Vierrunde ist gestartet und sie haben eben in diesem Moment die 250-Meter-Marke hinter sich gelassen. Dieses Rennen wird präsentiert von der Schurter AG. Schurter, Spezialist für Elektronikkomponenten und Eingabesysteme. Nun, nach 250 Meter sind es die Rumänen, die dieses Rennen zusammen mit den Australiern anführen, aber nicht weit dahinter dann auch Deutschland und Großbritannien. Australien, die Olympiasieger in dieser Bootsklasse, praktisch unverändert, nur die Schlagposition hat sich geändert. Alex Hill ist in 2 Runden gegangen, Joseph O'Brien neu im Boot. Dann auch die Rumänen mit einer sehr erfahrenen Crew. Die Rumänen werden heute auch noch den Achter fahren, also ein ganz harter Tag für sie. Und jetzt zuerst aber möchten sie natürlich in diesem Vierrone-Rennen auf dem Podium stehen.
Well, they're through 500. Australia have found their pace. 44 strokes a minute, overrating the rest of the field by 4 strokes per minute. Stroke there by Jack O'Brien, and they're really starting to find their rhythm and push out to the lead here. The question is, who can go with them? Great Britain doing their absolute best here. Freddie Davidson in the stroke seat there, holding them at 38 strokes a minute, and they're only a quarter to half a length down on the Aussies, coming up towards 750 metres in. Those two boats surging out to 3/4 of a length, nearly a length up on the contenders for bronze between Germany and Romania. Let's see how this race pans out then. Australia, high rate of striking here, Camilla.
Yeah, 42 strokes a minute. Very characteristic of what we saw from the Australian four back in Linz at the World Championships in 2019. They motored down the course at above 40 for the whole of that championships. The crew then sort of changed their style for the Olympic Games that saw them to gold in Tokyo last summer. But they're back up at these high ratings. 42 strokes a minute is really a punishing rhythm. If we look at silver medal position currently with the British, they're at 37 strokes a minute, giving the sort of recovery that much longer. But this is identical to what happened last weekend when these two crews last met at the Henley Royal Regatta over in the UK. The Australians got out to almost a length and then were rowed down by Great Britain to only win by 1 foot over the GB crew. So we're going to expect big things from GB in this next quarter. They're now 3/4 of a length down on Australia, but they've got that rate in hand, as we've said. It's then another high rating crew that slots into bronze medal position. 42 strokes a minute for the Romanians here. They're going to have to work extremely hard to stay ahead of a very tightly drilled and well-performing German crew that's had the regatta of their lives so far and are still in contention for a medal. They hold overlap here in 4th place.
Ja, Camilla hat es schön beschrieben. Die Australier, sie tragen vielleicht noch etwas die Handschrift von Ian Wright, ihrem ehemaligen Coach. Er hat sie zu Olympiagold geführt, zumindest 3 von den 4, die heute im Boot sitzen. Ian Wright, wir wissen es, mittlerweile der Trainer der Schweizer Rudernationalmannschaft. Und diese Australier, sie führen dieses Rennen und sie scheinen ihren Vorsprung gegenüber Großbritannien leicht ausbauen zu können. Zumindest der erwartete Angriff der Briten über die Streckenhälfte, den konnten sie abwehren. Auf der 3. Position nach wie vor das rumänische Boot, ebenfalls mit sehr hoher Schlagzahl unterwegs. Die Rumänen, bekannt dafür natürlich, aber sie haben einen langen Weg zurück an die Spitze des Feldes. Camilla, are the Romanians going to manage to come back? And when is that British sprint coming?
Well, the Romanians still up at 42 strokes a minute, and they are closing, but not enough. The British still with the higher boat speed in silver medal position, and actually now, in fact, they're moving faster than Oz here, Tim.
Yeah, the British definitely throwing down the gauntlet at the Australians, who are still at 41 strokes a minute. But Freddie Davidson there in the stroke seat of that GB4, upping it to 38 strokes a minute, and they have a superior boat speed by far at this stage. It looks like a carbon copy of Henley just a week ago. I think the British just managing now to get into gold medal position. It's basically level with 300 meters still left to row. GB, the superior boat speed still, and they are stretching their advantage. 3 meters between them and the silver medaling Australians at this point, with the young Romanians who are also doubling up in the men's 8 in bronze medal position.
Yeah, GB have smashed the last 300 metres, 39 strokes a minute, and they rocketed past Australia, 3/4 of a length up already, coming to the last 200 and showing no signs of slowing. There's no response from Australia. They're still at 42, and Great Britain continue to pull away, nearly a length now into the last 150.
Ja, Australien kann es nicht mehr halten, ihre Spitzenposition. Die Olympiasieger von Tokio werden hier geschlagen von einem unglaublich starken britischen Boot, welche hier einem Sieg entgegenfahren mit einer Länge Vorsprung rund 150 Meter vor dem Ziel.
Here we go, Romania moving up on Australia. They're at 48 strokes a minute, that Romanian boat, and they're drawn level with Australia into the last 30 metres. Great Britain are going to take the gold medal, and then it's going to be on the surge of the stroke. It's Australia by a hair's breadth in the end. And then Germany take 4th, 5th place Italy, and 6th place on the far side, Italy won. That was a really tight one for the bronze medal. If the race had been 1 metre shorter, it could well have been Romania's race. It was 1/10 separating them. Great Britain won the gold then in 5:51.14. Second place, Australia, 1/10 of a second ahead of Romania for bronze. The victory ceremony for the women's quadruple sculls.
Die Siegerehrung zum Frauen-Doppelvierer.
The medals will be presented by
Die Medaillen werden präsentiert von
World Rowing Council member
Mitglied des World Rowing Council,
Dusan Masacek, accompanied by the representative of Sabag,
begleitet vom Repräsentanten der Sabag, Marco Schiavini.
winners of the bronze medal,
Gewinnerinnen der Bronzemedaille.
Italy. Italy represented by
Italien vertreten durch
Chiara Ondoli, Valentina Isepi, Alessandra Montesano, and Clara Guerra. Winners of the silver medal,
Gewinnerin der Silbermedaille.
Great Britain! Great Britain represented by
Großbritannien, vertreten durch
Lucy Glover, Georgina Brayshaw, Kyra Edwards, Jessica Layden, winners of the gold medal and winners of the 2022 World Rowing Cup,
Gewinnerin der Goldmedaille und Gewinnerin des Ruderweltcups 2022.
China! China represented by
China, vertreten durch
Tui Xiaotong, Liu Yang, Lu Xiyu, and Chen Yunsha. Ladies and gents, let's hear it for our medalists.
Applaus für unsere Medaillengewinnerinnen.
Next up, we've got the A final for the women's single sculls.
A-Finale im Fraueneiner.
Lining up here, China, France, Azerbaijan, Switzerland, Australia and Germany.
Wir haben China, Frankreich, Aserbaidschan, Schweiz, Australien und Deutschland.
In lane 1 for China, Zhongling. Lane 2 for France, Emma Lunati. Lane 3 for Azerbaijan, Diana Dimchenko. Lane 4 for Switzerland, Janine Gmelin. Lane 5 for Australia, Tara Rigney. And in lane 6 for Germany, Alexandra Förster. Here we go. We've got the start then of this A-final for the women's single sculls. A rapid few strokes there from the German athlete first on the near side of that picture. Not pushing her into the lead, though. The early lead in the first couple of strokes was with Emma Lunati for France. We'll see how this pans out as they start to think about settling into their race rhythm in this A-final for the women's single sculls, presented by Ackermann Unternehmungen, specialists in revitalising buildings. Now, they're coming up towards 200 metres in. Lunati out in front. She's at 40, but only by a tiny hair's breadth ahead of the Chinese athlete Zhong Ling, the Olympic champion from the women's quad. So she's now here in the single, looking to contest the front of the field and draws level with Lunati coming through 200.
200 Meter sind zurückgelegt im Finale im Fraueneiner. Das Rennen wird präsentiert von den Ackermann Unternehmungen, ihr Spezialist für Gebäudevitalisierung. Und die Französin ist nun eben stark unter Druck gekommen von der Athletin neben ihr, von Ling Shang. Die Olympiasiegerin im Frauendoppelvierer ist in diesem Jahr alleine unterwegs und versucht auch hier ganz vorne mitzufahren. Aber es sind erst 300 Meter, 400 Meter zurückgelegt in diesem Rennen und es sind auch alle Boote nahe beisammen und natürlich dabei auch Janine Gmelin, die einzige Olympiafinalistin, welche hier nun am Start ist. Janine Gmelin in diesem Jahr an den internationalen Ausscheidungsrennen nur Nummer 2, aber jetzt zeigt sie, dass sie durchaus wieder bereit ist für ganz große Taten. Die Frage stellt sich hier, kann sie nach ihren beiden Siegen 2017, 2018 wieder gewinnen, hier auf den Rotsee in Lucerne? Wir brauchen natürlich hier volle Unterstützung. Sie hat es gesagt am Fernsehen. Kuhglocken raus und Hopschwitz.
Well, through the 500, it's Zhong Ling leading at the moment by just over half a length ahead of Emma Lunati for France. It's then close looking back to Janine Gmelin, the Swiss favourite here on local water, going to try and contest the front of the field. But Zhong Ling trying to sew up a win here. She's usually in the quad. Now finds herself replaced by Lu Xiu in that quad. And here now Zhong Ling is in the singles, so she'll be looking to show off to the selectors in the Chinese squad to say, I deserve my spot in the top boat. She's a length up, though, on Janine Gmelin, who's now starting to make her presence felt moving up the order, Camilla.
Yeah, Janine Gmelin, as we've heard, is a real favoured athlete here on home water in Lucerne on the Rotsee, and she will have, I would say, the majority of the support here on the banks as she starts to very gradually separate herself from bronze medal position and more firmly and confidently into silver. But it's going to take some doing. Overlap still between all of the crews here behind Zhong Ling of China over in lane number 1, but still it really isn't enough to put your money on gold medal just yet. If we look now, they're approaching the 1,000-meter marker, and Janine just desperately trying to get touch back with the Chinese athlete, and she's up there at 35 strokes a minute. She's managed to close another metre or so on Zhong Ling of China, and I can hear the chants from the crowds here. The cowbells are going. She's in silver at the moment, trying to push on to gold, but currently sits with China. Rigney of Australia moving with her in bronze medal position.
Ja, weiterhin eine Länge Rückstand für die Usterin, für Janine Gmelin, die seit einigen Jahren in Sarnen in Obwalden wohnt. Sie kommt jetzt auch noch unter Druck von der Australierin Tara Rigney. Was aber allerdings für sie spricht, sind die starken und lauten Hopschwitzrufe von dem Rotseeufer und die Kuhglocken, die man nun immer lauter und zahlreicher zu hören bekommt. Also sehr gut weiter so. Janine braucht die Unterstützung, denn der Rückstand auf die Chinesin, der scheint einfach nicht schrumpfen zu wollen, auch wenn sie jetzt die leicht höhere Geschwindigkeit hat. Sie versucht wirklich vehement hier an die Chinesin ranzukommen.
Well, this certainly would be the part of the course where Gmelin's going to get quite the power up here for Switzerland. The noise from the bank keeps coming for her, and she will know it will be for her as she just gains touch here with the Chinese sculler Zhong in lane number 1, and she is moving. Tara Rigney's going to have to go with her as well. These three scullers looking good for the medals here, Tim.
Yeah, definitely. Still, it's Zhang from China, the Olympic champion in the women's quad, in the lead, but only just 4 meters separating her and silver medalist or sculler in silver medal position, Gemelin, trying to add another win here on the Rotsee after wins in 2018 and 2017. She's really trying to make her case and get ahead, but a response now coming from China. Again, she's stretched out. It's going to be very difficult, but we still have a long way to go, more than 500 meters left to race, and it's tightening up at the front of the field. I think Gemelin there with a big push. She now gets her bauble in front of the Chinese sculler, and it's Gemelin currently in gold medal position, silver medal for Zhang, racing in lane number 1 in silver medal, and Tara Rigby from Australia going with Gemelin for that silver medal, or perhaps even the gold. It's very tight at the front of the race. Behind them it's very tight as well for 4th and 5th, but out in front the race for the medals is lighting up because Gemelin, the home favorite, is in gold medal position, Peter, but she's not safe just yet because Rigney from Australia is moving with her as well, and the Chinese sculler still in that silver medal position.
The volume rising on the banks of the Rotsee here. Janine Gmelin, local favourite from Switzerland, out in front, but the pressure is on. Tara Rigney closing in on her. Both of these athletes winding up the rating. China starting to drop down now. Is going to be between Janine Gmelin and Tara Rigney for gold.
Eine halbe Länge Vorsprung hat Janine Gmelin, etwa 300 Meter vor dem Ziel. Sie wird verfolgt von der Australierin, welche hier nun mächtig Druck macht. Aber wir kennen Janine. Janine kann unglaublich hart racen. Sie kann sprinten bis zum Schluss und das wird sie jetzt auch machen. Sie wird richtiggehend getragen von dem fantastischen Publikum hier auf der Seite im Rotsee. Also, es könnte einen dritten Sieg geben für Janine Gmelin seit 2017, 18, vielleicht 2022. Macht euch bereit für den letzten paar hundert Meter im Fraueneiner.
Both of these scullers at 37, 38 strokes a minute now. And also we've got the German athlete, Förster, moving up into bronze medal and contesting the lead. She's drawn level with Rigney. There's 3 baubles coming to the last 100 metres here. Absolutely level. It's going to be a photo finish. I think Förster has moved into the lead. This is a phenomenal sprint finish from the young German athlete, taking the lead and the gold medal position. She's certain to win now. She's nearly half a length ahead of Rigney in a phenomenal sprint finish. Last few strokes, and Alexandra Förster for Germany takes the gold medal, 3/4 of a length ahead of Tara Rigney, who takes silver, and then a canvas to Janine Gmelin, who takes the bronze. 4th place, Diana Dimchenko for Azerbaijan. 5th is Zhongling for China, and 6th place, Emma Lunati of France. The victory ceremony for the men's four.
Die Siegerehrung zum Männervierer.
The medals will be presented by
Die Medaillen werden präsentiert von
World Rowing Executive Director
Executive Director von World Rowing,
Vincent Gaillard, accompanied by representative of Schurter AG,
begleitet vom Repräsentanten der Schurter AG, Thomas Schurter.
winners of the bronze medal,
Gewinner der Bronzemedaille,
Romania. Romania represented by
Rumänien, vertreten durch
Florin Lehaci, Stefan Berariu, Mugarel Vasily Semchuch, Mihaita Tiganescu, winners of the silver medal,
Gewinner der Silbermedaille,
Australia. Australia represented by
Australien, vertreten durch
Jack O'Brien, Jack Hargreaves, Spencer Turin, and Alexander Pernell. Winners of the gold medal and winners of the 2022 World Rowing Cup,
Gewinner der Goldmedaille und Gewinner des Ruderweltcups 2022.
Great Britain. Great Britain represented by
Großbritannien, vertreten durch
Freddie Davidson, Matthew Aldridge, Samuel Nunn, and William Stewart. Ladies and gents, let's hear it for our medalists.
Applaus für unsere Medaillengewinner.
Next race on the course, it's the A final for the men's single sculls. Germany, Canada, Great Britain, Bulgaria, France and Spain.
A-Finale im Männereiner. Wir haben Deutschland, Kanada, Großbritannien, Bulgarien, Frankreich und Spanien am Start.
Let's introduce our athletes up there at the start. This A final for the men's single sculls. In lane 1 for Germany, Mark Webber. Lane 2 for Canada, Trevor Jones. Lane 3 for Great Britain, Graham Thomas. Lane 4 for Bulgaria, Christian Vasilev. Lane 5 for France, Mathieu Androdias. And lane 6 for Spain, Jordi Jofre Senquiales. There we have the start. We're underway with this A final for the men's single sculls on now. And it's a good, quick start for Vajilev of Bulgaria. A rapid few strokes. But we look here on the big screen at Graham Thomas of Great Britain, a possible favourite in this category. But it's such a tight field, it's going to be really tough to pick out a leader, let alone medal position. So this, of course, being the A final for the men's single sculls, presented by Hug AG for cookies and pastries. They're coming up towards 200 metres in and now starting to make his presence felt. Still up there at 42 strokes a minute is Jordi Jofre of Spain, taking half a canvas on the currently level boats from Bulgaria and Great Britain, Vajilev and Thomas. So we'll see how they spread out as they start to settle in through this first 500.
Mit dem Männereiner ist das letzte Rennen vor der Mittagspause auf der Strecke. Dieses Rennen wird präsentiert von Hug AG, Gutzli und Backwaren. Nach 300 Meter ist es der Spanier Jofre Senciales, welcher hier eine halbe Länge herausgerudert hat, gegenüber der Booten in der Mitte, gegenüber von Frankreich, Bulgarien und Großbritannien. Also, es läuft auf einen Vierkampf heraus, etwas zurückgebunden momentan schon etwas der Kanadier Trevor Jones und Mark Webber aus Deutschland, aber wir wissen natürlich, nach 400 geruderten Metern ist noch viel Wasser offen bis ins Ziel. Also, wir freuen uns auf diesen letzte Rennen vor der Mittagspause.
Moving up now, we can see that Jordi Jofre is still in the lead, but Vajilev and Graham Thomas starting to move up to try and close that gap, not leaving behind the Olympic champion from the men's double, Mathieu Androdias, in lane 5. So the field really rather tight here between these four boats. They're a length up on Mark Webber of Germany, who has half a length on 6th place Trevor Jones as it stands going through 600. But so little separating these lead four scullers as we see Vajilev now push up into the lead, and that means that Graham Thomas of Great Britain and Jofre Senciales of Spain are level for second and third, Camilla.
Yeah, and if it's this close at this point in the race, certainly towards you in the finish tab, Pete, I'd expect it to be even closer. But as they move through 750 metres gone, the lead keeps exchanging between boats. It was Vajilev of Bulgaria. This would be by far his best finish in the single scull this year if he can keep up this pace. But he's going to have to watch out for the charging scull of Graham Thomas of Great Britain, who the fastest moving boat on the water currently is at 36 strokes a minute, the man from Agecroft Rowing Club up in the northwest of England, and he's just pushed through by half a canvas now ahead of Vajilev. There's also the fast starting dynamite Jordi Jofre Senciales still in the mix for the medals, but I would expect him to drop back now at the mercy of the Olympic champion Mathieu Androdias, who is sat here patiently waiting his turn and his time. He's clear water back at the moment and in the mix with Trevor Jones, the double under-23 world champion for Canada. He's half a length up on him in 5th. Trevor Jones in 6th, and trying to come up alongside the German Mark Webber as well. But medals continue to exchange places. Graham Thomas currently in gold, Vajilev in silver, Jordi Jofre Senciales in bronze, but it's Androdias now with a flurry of speed.
Männer-Einer-Finale und Thomas Graham, der scheint hier auf dem Weg zum Sieg zu sein. Er, der Vierte in Tokio im Männer-Doppelvierer, war Dritter in Belgrad dieses Jahr beim ersten Weltcup und führt jetzt dieses Rennen an. Er scheint sich auch leicht abzusetzen vom bulgarischen Verfolger. Das ist der erste Verfolger, Christian Vajilev. Er definitiv auch sehr gut unterwegs in diesem Rennen, hat diese Saison noch nicht wirklich überzeugen können, noch keine Medaille geholt an den vorherigen Weltcups. Und kommt nun auch langsam, aber sicher unter Druck vom Deutschen. Ganz auf der Innenbahn, auf der Bahn 1, Mark Webber vom Gießener Ruderclub Hassia. Er war 11. in Tokio im Männer-Doppelzweier. Nach wie vor in Führung ist es der Brite Graham Thomas.
Well, Mark Webber, we've just heard there, is just charging forward. He is trying to overhaul Jofre Esenciales, which he's done very effectively in this third quarter, and now trying to come up on terms with Vasilev, Tim.
Yeah, he might even overhaul Vasilev, who is dropping back a clear water lead for Graham Thomas there to silver medal position. Vasilev from Bulgaria, who is overrating the Briton quite some bit, and on the far side of the picture, racing in lane 1, it's Mark Webber, who is doing fantastic to be in bronze medal position. He's up at 38 strokes a minute. Great to see him back from injury and doing so well, but all eyes will be drawn for the battle for gold and silver, and currently it's Graham Thomas from GB out in front, but Vasilev is closing the Briton down slightly. It was almost 10 meters, now it's 7 meters, so a charge there coming from Vasilev at 43 strokes a minute. He's moving and trying to secure that silver medal, Peter.
Yeah, it's a massive push from the Bulgarian, trying to close in on Graham Thomas to see if he can nip in for the gold. Not much of a response from Thomas. He's gone up 1 pip to 37. Vasilev settling back down from 43, back down to 40. So I think it was just a little bit of a surge to push off Mark Webber, who's moving up, and he's now pretty safe for bronze medal here.
Ja, Graham Thomas hat das Rennen früh die Spitze übernommen. Bei 1000 Meter war er vorne, bei 1500 Meter war er vorne und nun konnte er sich etwas freikämpfen vom aufkommenden Bulgaren, von Christian Vasilev. Jetzt wird gesprintet um die Goldmedaille, aber ich denke, das wird nach Großbritannien geben. Silber dann nach Bulgarien und dahinter könnte es eine Bronzemedaille für Deutschland geben.
It's a massive push by Vasilev. He goes to 47 strokes a minute. Thomas goes up to 40 to try and fend it off, and they're into the last 20 metres. Graham Thomas is going to hold on to the gold medal here for Great Britain, crossing the line 3/4 of a length ahead of Vasilev of Bulgaria, who takes silver. And then the last few strokes to Mark Webber, who has had a great middle thousand, moving up from 5th to cross the line here in 3rd for the bronze medal, a length and a half ahead of Trevor Jones of Canada, who in the end had a length and a bit over Jordi Jofre Esenciales of Spain for 5th, and then 6th place Androdias for France. The victory ceremony for the women's single sculls.
Die Siegerehrung zum Frauen-Einer.
The medals will be presented by
Die Medaillen werden präsentiert von
World Rowing Executive Committee member
Mitglied des World Rowing Executive Committee.
Frieda Svensson, accompanied by the representative of Ackermann Unternehmungen,
Begleitet vom Repräsentanten der Ackermann Unternehmungen, Roger Ackermann.
winner of the bronze medal representing Switzerland,
Gewinnerin der Bronzemedaille aus der Schweiz, Janine Gmelin.
winner of the silver medal representing Australia,
Gewinnerin der Silbermedaille aus Australien,
Tara Rigney. Winner of the gold medal representing Germany,
Gewinnerin der Goldmedaille aus Deutschland, Alexandra Förster.
Alexandra Förster is just receiving medical attention, so sadly can't be with us on the victory podium right now.
Alexander Förster kann leider nicht auf dem Siegessteg sein, da sie noch medizinische Betreuung erhält in diesem Augenblick. Aber trotzdem herzliche Gratulation an Alexander Förster und gute Besserung.
And last but not least, the winners of the World Rowing Cup 2022,
Die Gewinnerin des Ruderweltcups 2022.
the Netherlands. Ladies and gents, let's hear it for our medalists.
Applaus für unsere Medaillengewinnerinnen.
Well, this morning's block of racing might have wrapped up in time for us to have some lunch, but we've still got one more victory ceremony to go for the men's single sculls. So don't go anywhere from around the grandstand area. In a moment, we'll have that victory ceremony for the men's single sculls. And then, after that, it's lunch before we get underway with racing again at shortly after 1:30.
Die Mittagspause ist noch nicht ganz lanciert, denn wir haben zuerst noch die Siegerehrung im Männer-Einer. Also jetzt nochmals Aufmerksamkeit zum Siegespodium und danach geht es dann weiter direkt in die Mittagspause.
The victory ceremony for the men's single sculls.
Die Siegerehrung zum Männer-Einer.
The medals will be presented by
Die Medaillen werden präsentiert von
World Rowing President
Präsident von World Rowing,
Jean-Christophe Rolland, accompanied by the representative of Hug AG,
begleitet vom Repräsentanten der Hug AG, Werner Hug.
winner of the bronze medal, representing Germany,
Gewinner der Bronzemedaille aus Deutschland, Mark Weber.
winner of the silver medal, representing Bulgaria,
Gewinner der Silbermedaille aus Bulgarien,
Christian Vasilev. Winner of the gold medal, representing Great Britain,
Gewinner der Goldmedaille aus Großbritannien,
Graham Thomas. And last but not least, the winners of the World Rowing Cup 2022,
der Gewinner des Ruderweltcups 2022,
the Netherlands. Now give it up, folks, for our medalists.
Applaus für unsere Medaillengewinner.
Well, folks, that brings our morning programme of racing to an end. It's time for some lunch. We've got a brief break now for lunch before we recommence racing at 1:35. We've got 6A finals to look forward to. We'll go through the women's 4 at 1:35, and then the men's quad, the men's double, women's 8, women's double, and then the men's 8 to wrap up our day. So we've still got 6A finals to look forward to here at the 2022 World Rowing Cup 3 Lucerne. So for the time being, grab yourself some lunch and be back with us before the next race at 1:35.
Das war es mit dem Morgenprogramm hier am Weltcup in Luzern. Wir haben nun eine kurze Mittagspause, bevor es dann um 13:35 mit dem Finale im Frauen-Vierone weitergeht. Um 13:46 dann der Männer-Doppelvierer 14:01, der Männer-Doppelzweier 14:16, der Frauenachter 14:30, der Frauen-Doppelzweier und zum Schluss dann um 2:45 der Männer-Achter. Also vieles gibt es noch am Nachmittag. 5 spannende Rennen erwarten uns, aber zuerst eine kurze Verschnaufspause. Ich denke, für uns alle.
We now have an opportunity to honour Alexandra Förster from Germany, winner of the gold medal here in the women's single sculls at the 2022 World Rowing Cup 3 Lucerne.
Wir holen bei dieser Gelegenheit noch kurz die Siegerehrung im Fraueneiner für die Goldmedaille nach, nämlich für Alexandra Förster, welche nun wieder zurück ist.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up please, a round of applause for Alexandra Förster, winner of the gold medal here in the women's single scull.
Applaus für Alexandra Förster, die Gewinnerin der Goldmedaille im Fraueneiner 2022 hier auf dem Rotsee in Luzern.